Debbie. Yeah, what's up with it? Debbie. Yeah, what's up with it?
Good evening, listeners, one and all. Welcome to Round 5 of Ascent, hosted by Amateur Oceanic Esports, sponsored by My Republic Gainer. I'm Peronius. Back with me tonight, as always, is Temporal. We got some great matches coming up. What can we expect tonight?
We can expect both of these matches to have playoff implications for the respective divisions. Starting in Division 2, we will see Stratos Element face off against Firescale to determine their final seeding in this group. Following that, we'll move on to Division 4, where QUT Anomaly will be taking on the MGSharks to see who will get what placing in the playoffs as they go forward to claim that part of the $500 prize pool that has been provided by My Republic. You're on mute. So My Republic, if you're looking for a great NBN service, go with Australia's #1 broadband provider for gaming. My Republic, with their gamer package, offer many great benefits such as ultra-low, ultra-stable latency connections, static IP, and support via Discord, amongst other great offers and exclusive specialized gamer perks. So if you're looking for a great service, you can always look for My Republic when it comes to your NBN.
Additionally, as always, we'd like to thank a couple of extremely generous members of our community who have supported us to help keep Ascent running. So a big thank you to Splash, Bloodborne, and Apollo, which keep and remember that name because that is going to be relevant just shortly.
Nice little segue. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'd like to take a look at last week's matches. Pyronius, we saw that first match between East Coast Krakens and Orion Beetle. Coming into the match, looking at the statistics, it looked like East Coast Krakens might have had it in the bag, but Orion Beetle exploded out of the gates and they didn't stop down for any of the three maps we saw.
Absolutely. It seemed like the longer the match went on, the stronger Orion Beetle we're getting. It was absolutely an upset. Speaking of, actually, I don't know if you'd call the other one an upset. We did have our perhaps grand final Division 1 preview last week between Power Anchors and ADSL 2+.
And that was quite a showing. We know these teams have history against each other. Power Anchors had been the last team to win, but ADSL 2+ showed exactly why they were contenders playoffs teams. And you heard that correctly. They were in actual Australian contenders playoffs, and they showed Power Anchors exactly why they are the stronger team right now. So ADSL 2+ putting themselves in a great position to make a run for that Division 1 title and become Ascent champions. We saw great play all round from both the teams we saw last week. Particular highlights for me, Leprechaunic on the hit scan, particularly the Ash was tearing Power Anchors to shreds.
Yeah, it seemed like so many fights that were over before they started because Leprechaunic had gotten an early pick off on someone, and it just seeing it happen time and time again, you have to wonder what was going on that he was able to get those shots through. But moving on to tonight, we'll be starting off, as we said before, Stratos Element against Firescale, our Division 2 matchup. Bit of playoff potential here as well, because Firescale, if they're able to sweep this one cleanly, they can manage to get themselves to top seeding in the group and take that away from Stratos Element. So definitely a big opportunity there for them. Stratos Element, they just need to chip this one in to walk away with that #1 seed.
Indeed, just taking a single map off Firescale, win or lose, the Stratos Element will ensure they finish ahead. But then these teams, they'll both be eagerly awaiting the results from the other match in the division, which is taking place between Kraken Academy and Reboot, because to lay it out, Stratos Element winning guarantees them first place and guarantees Firescale third place. If Firescale is able to steal victory out of Stratos Element's grasp, it's up in contention, and then I've just looped back around. They're relying on the result from the Kraken Academy match, and dependent on what the score is there, Firescale could finish as high as first, which would be a big achievement for them, particularly coming to playoffs where you get that first versus fourth matchup, and it puts you in good stead to go through to that final match and take a shot at the prize pool. And Pyronius, as always, we're starting out here on the pole, and this time it's not Village.
It's true. We actually will be starting here in the Sanctum, which makes me wonder if you're actually really here with me, or am I dreaming this?
Maybe you are dreaming it, but I'm not dreaming the players on each of these teams today. I'd like to introduce them quickly. For Stratos Element, they are represented by Buddy O'Bill, Apollo, Verda, Wadahek, PogChamp, and Quack. For the side of Fire Scale, we have Horrible, which is a great name, by the way, SJC, Sneaky, Hypnotic, Liam Fox, and Mutnik. And based on what they're running out on, we're not seeing any Lucios, but Fire Scale may have the advantage getting to the point with that Symmetra teleporter coming into play.
Yeah, an interesting one there. Also, what the heck coming out on the Torb here? We actually saw Torbjorn run on this map last week, I believe, to some fairly great results. We'll see if that can be replicated this week. Seems neither team going to rush for that early point presence here, so they're looking for the picks, and Buddy Bill's gone down early to Sneaky, so it's a good start here for Fire Scale.
Yeah, Stratos set up in the corner, looking to give that Torbjorn turret room to work on the shields of Fire Scale, but the damage was far too much for the Orisa. Taking it down, Fire Scale taking an easy first control.
Yeah, it seemed like, I mean, I suppose once you've lost that early play, you don't really want to push your chances anyways, so Stratos Element choosing to regroup. Now they're going to come back in. They are going to be in a position to go for an early recontest here as a result for that, but PogChamp going down early by Sneaky again means that this push is probably over before it's begun, but it looks like they might be committing to it.
Indeed, the tanks of Fire Scale doing a really good job being the only presence available on the point. The rest of Fire Scale hanging back around the corner, well protected by the environmental features of the map, so they're playing it really well. Losing Hypnotic might hurt them, but Echo can get back quite fast.
Yeah, I think in the end, both those Echoes spawning at about the same time means that we can expect all players from both teams to be back for this next fight. Fire Scale starting to edge ahead in the economy. Certainly Horrible much further ahead than the counterpart in Buddy Bill. But now we're seeing a lot of aggression coming through here.
They're putting pressure on that backline who's holed up in the corner. Just a little Horrible, plugging away from the point, not really taking too much focus as Hypnotic from the side, able to find what the heck. Those sticky bombs coming to great effect, not quite quick enough with the Transcendence to save. The Sigma was PogChamp. So a roundabout way getting there. There's a grab flux online. SJC, the first ultimate off the rank as a whole, puts Quack into the well. And Fire Scale, they expend one ultimate, but they are well placed to take out this map right now.
Yeah, 75% means there's only going to be one more chance to recontest this one. And Stratos Element, they use their trance. They've got their other ultimates about to come online. They're going to get them online in this fight, but really there's a big opportunity here for Fire Scale to close this one out if they can get another cheeky opening pick.
I mean, they've got so many ultimates to work with. They could just focus on one or two players with those ultimates, eliminate a third of Stratos as they come in. There's lots of ultimates online. Supercharger is the first victim of the fight as the point flips over. Fire Scale just stepping off, waiting for that Transcendence from Liam Fox to come through. SJC gets the opening kill. Verda knocked out of the duplicate, and it's all Bob all over the point. That big Omnic Butler plugging away, finishes off with 3 kills. They probably got gold. That Bob probably has gold kills on their team right now.
Yeah, that was a brutal showing there from Fire Scale, coming out swinging, I should say, but swinging and hitting. They know that this is their chance to get some points. And I mean, if you're Stratos Element, I can understand maybe coming into this match a little more relaxed. I mean, you're top of the group, you're in a good spot, you're pretty much guaranteed to walk away from this as long as you get the W with that #1 spot. So maybe get caught a little off guard there by a hungry Fire Scale who are looking to upturn things. But we'll see how things continue as this match unfolds. Will Stratos Element buckle down and start trading back?
So they've got a few maps to do that in as their sides are coming out. Slightly different compositions. Goodbye, Orisa. Hello, Reinhardt. But Lucio's on both sides will mean they get to the point quite quickly. They're sneaky. Sitting on that Symmetra, sticking with it. The teleport gets them to the point, but Stratos Element is there already waiting for them. Fire Scale gets the position on the point, but they lose Mutnik in the process. That's that speed and the big AoE healing gone. Liam Fox has their work cut out for them. They're doing a great job so far. Already 80% towards the Coalescence as the walls go up on the point. You can hear Vander's Hellfire shotguns making mincemeat of no one in that little room. Apollo falls down, and so far it's a trade either way, but Mutnik will be back soon. The Coalescence on the field. There he is, Mutnik taking What a Hex May out of the fight. And in the end, Fire Scale picking up first control again.
Yeah, it's really nicely played again by Fire Scale. I was a little worried at the start of the match because Liam Fox actually got cut off away from the team, but managed to escape on that Moira. Very much a hard hero to pin down when their cooldowns are available. And with that, they're able to stick together even losing the first person there with Mutnik going down, they managed to hold their position, bide their time, and trade it back. Not the easiest thing to do. Firescale really definitely here to play.
Oh, that's a nice telly. It's going to enable a quick rotation from Firescale. The Photon Barrier splits the point in half, but they lose Horrible. Goes down with the Earthshatter. Earthshatter again laid down by Buddy. Bill picks up 2. Cry Freeze going to save Hypnotic for a moment, but they're going to finish that one off as Stratos Element move in, capture the point.
And that is the clean fight that we need to start seeing from Stratos Element there. Not losing anyone, absolutely in control of the fight. They have used some resources to do it, but they've got other resources coming online shortly. Sneaky's had to swap over to the Reaper, so that's going to put him considerably behind in economy here. Let's see if Hornbull is going to land a big shatter.
The Blizzard on the high ground going to lock so many members from Firescale in. The Death Blossom from Veda over the top, not even required. And ultimately taken out by the Self-Destruct. SJC picking up 1, but it is just that 1 kill for the fight. Stratos staying in control.
Absolutely, and Verda will be able to get back pretty quickly with that Reaper help of the teleport. So not a big opportunity here for Firescale to get back into it. They've got the Blizzard online. They could return with a Blizzard of their own. And they're about to have the Coalescence as well, so definitely have some tools online. There's a nice wall there just to give time for the rest of the team to get in.
We'll see if Hypnotic's Blizzard was as good as Wadu Hex. The Coalescence is the first ultimate invested. There's the Blizzard comes out. No one on the side of Stratos going to be there to eat it, so gets in, and Firescale use it to great effect. They move on to the point, clean up 2. Quack gets one back, picking Sneaky out of the fight, but the counter Lucio will be gone, as will PogChamp. No support available for Stratos. Sees Firescale take the point back.
Absolutely, and even though that Blizzard didn't actually catch any players in it, it did funnel everyone exactly where they wanted them to. So in this case, perhaps unironically, a zoning ult definitely worked out in Firescale's favor.
Lots of, we joke a bit about zoning ults, but I mean, certain things like Deadeye and Self-Destruct are typically used as zoning ults. SJC, speaking of Self-Destructs, will walk straight into the hammer of Buddy Bill, who lays down so many members of Firescale. Stratos Element take the point back and get the Earthshatter kills as cleanup of all things.
Yeah, that one might actually come back to bite them. Maybe a bit of an overcommitment considering how much it probably wasn't needed for that fight. Like the Shatter and the Coalescence, I don't know if you needed both of those to win that one. And it does mean they're going to have only some resources. Admittedly, those resources are a Grav and a Blizzard, so powerful ones at that.
Those are the 2 ultimates I would want. So all the defense matrix from SJC not able to absorb the Blizzard from Wadu Hex. So many members of Firescale locked down. The counter Death Blossoms coming over the top. Veda got the better of it out of the 2 Reapers, but the rest of Firescale there to clean up the kills. They've got the numbers. They're going to take it back in overtime.
Yeah, and this is where the ult economy from Stratos Element starts to show cracks and weakness. Again, they used both big ultimates there for a fight that they weren't able to clean up. Now, with basically 1 fight left in this game, they need to come in. They've got no resources. And the silver lining, Firescale don't have a lot, but they are going to have their own Blizzard and a Self-Destruct there for this final fight. So they've got tools that Stratos Element don't.
Oh, there's a nice zoning Self-Destruct placed on the edge of the point to stop Stratos getting in, but a nice wall will see them in, but they walk straight into the Blizzard of Hypnotic. The cleanup is there. Firescale climbing their way to 99%. I say no one. Quack is going to be there, but in the end, no one else able to touch for Stratos. Firescale taking a quick Nepal to put themselves up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, it's a really great opening from Firescale, and I have to say, as much as that Self-Destruct, again, didn't appear to do much, it did prevent anyone from moving forwards onto the point there, which set everyone up for that May ult. So again, actual zoning ults, and we're seeing them being chained together effectively by Firescale to reap teamfight wins. So, I mean, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's an accident, maybe it's everything working exactly as planned.
I have a feeling that Firescale knows exactly what they're doing, and it's showing through right now. They've not daunted by Stratos' prowess coming into the match, and that's what you want, especially coming into the playoffs as a chance. You're going to be facing off against this team at some point, whether in the semis, whether in the grand final match. So if you can show them a little bit of backbone now, you say, we've got your number, don't get complacent. You could put enough of a fear, enough of a crack into their armor, thanks to that little bit of doubt being introduced, that it could all collapse on Stratos instead of having them go in undefeated into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, so far from what we've seen, Firescale looking very likely to maybe bring that upset. We'll be heading over to Hybrid now as our next map. So it's a chance for Stratos Element to pick the map we're going into, maybe pick something they're familiar with, a home ground. Looks like we'll be going into Eichenwald, so not going in to King's Row, but rather going into here really is going to be, I mean, Eichenwald, it's a map that really forces teams to show the depths of their hero pools, because so much of it, like every different point, and I've said this before, every point of Eichenwald basically requires a completely different composition. Now, sometimes you can just snowball through. Maybe you get first really well, and you can just sort of snowball through second fight. But if that is the case, the comp you're running for second, it's rarely the optimal comp for second point. And it's more that the defenders just aren't in a position to challenge you. But yeah, this map really brings it out for teams.
Indeed, and I'll be interested to see what Firescale run on their attack. And we've got Liam Fox, who we saw in that first map, did a fantastic job, particularly on the start of Village, where they lost Mutnik's Lucio early. And Liam Fox, that Moira, was able to just sit there, healing the team, got that coalescence in probably record time. And it was enough to sustain there to allow Mutnik to get back into the fight. They picked up a kill of their own, and then they got that first cap. So, you know, great leadership presence by the captain. It's described as the lovable member of the team. I believe that, yes, it's lovable. So, really great work from them. I'm looking to see what they come out with for the rest of the match and see if they can be countered by the support line from Stratos Element.
Yeah, I mean, the supports, we've seen in a lot of matches in this tournament, the support play actually making a huge difference in that. We've seen some really big bio grenades coming out. PogChamp is on the Ana, so maybe an opportunity to start seeing on that one. We will see. As we're coming out of the spawn, we're going to have Echoes on both teams again. She has been very much a meta pick here. But
interestingly, Doomfist coming out from both teams. Not something you expect to see here in Eichenwald.
No, but well, there's the winner of the Doom v Doom.
There you go. That's what you've got to do. You've got to get in there. Make sure the other Doomfist knows exactly who is the inferior Doom. They trade each other out. It's going to at least advantage Firescale as they're a bit closer to their own spawn.
Absolutely. You've got to assert dominance early on that way. Especially on a hero like Doom, you actually do want to shatter the other player's confidence.
Oh, nice hook from Apollo. Brings in SJC. The Sigma able to get away thanks to the coverage provided by Horrible, moving up with that big bulky Ryan shield. So Apollo going to be providing a lot of shield pressure for the two shields from Firescale. But the extra damage is going to be benefiting Liam Fox, who unleashes the Coalescence. Trades on both sides, but the big Ryan shield and the big glove of Hypnotic are down for Firescale. They're pulling it out on the point as best they can, but they need to be getting kills fast. Otherwise, they're going to be pushed back by Stratos.
Yeah, it does look like they are in a bit of retreat, but again, they have the attacker spawn advantage. They can afford to, and Sneaky appears to have been knocked off the map by the enemy Doomfist, so that is another push. Basically snuffed out in its starting, and What the Heck is putting on a really good show here on this Doomfist, just absolutely controlling all of this space.
They are, and Firescale needs to be making sure they get through that choke point in as quick a time as possible. Otherwise, the damage is going to be so much as if they try and shield their way through. Trades on either side again, Horrible going down. You know, he gets back to the point faster to charge, but the rest of your team can't really push up without that big Reinhardt presence. Hypnotic across onto the Farah.
Yeah, I suppose that sort of makes sense to me, because they're really getting punched around a lot by this Doomfist, and the best way to not get punched around by a Doomfist is to be in the air, so I imagine that's a lot.
Horrible. Napping on the job. As Apollo goes one-on-one against SJC, the Sigma able to get away, but lots of focus coming through from Apollo. That hook reeling people in, finishing people off, just as raining down from above, but didn't really need it, but why not? Showing Hypnotic exactly how to play. And I think that's Hypnotic's, gone toe-to-toe against both of the DPS and Stratos element and been found wanting so far.
I mean, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and we're seeing Stratos element really coming alive on this defense. Looks like Horrible's actually going to swap over onto the Orisa now. So they're giving up on the Reinhardt, maybe looking for a slower push here, which means we could be heading into the final fight. There's a minute left on the clock, but if you're looking for an Orisa push, it can take that full minute to whittle down like double shield.
Indeed it can. They make their way around the right-hand side of the clock tower from their tactical perspective. They find What the Heck in the backline. That's a great start. Is it Doomfist still on the field? Sneaky has duplicated that hero, built up to the Meteor Strike. We'll see where it comes down. The barrage over the top. He took it out of the air after picking up one. Apollo finishing off the fire, saying, nope, no justice for you. As Sneaky gets in there, it might not be quite enough. Another great hook. Apollo finished off both the DPS coming through fire scale, but the rest of the point presence is all the red team. They're going to capture point A.
And that was so close, but Stratos Element finally falling apart there as they lose What the Heck early, gives Firescale the opening they need to finally snowball that fight through. Maybe the Orisa was the right choice after all. After all, Orisa was built to counter Doomfist, so maybe that was what they needed. Nonetheless, Hypnotic has gone over to the Sombra here for second point, just doing some early scouting there, but Sneaky's gotten picked up. Apollo is playing really well here.
Indeed they are. What the Heck goes down, and I like the pick from Hypnotic. Good against What the Heck, and perhaps good against Apollo if they can get the hack off before the hook comes out. A coalescence from Liam Fox will keep all those players from Firescale alive as the car is pushing its way forward. A little bit of annoyance being provided by Stratos Element, but no real cart pressure right now as the cart pushes under the bridge just about on the final turn of the point. What the Heck goes in, the Meteor Strike forced to be used just to get out of dodge after they go low. It comes down right into the gravitic flux that came through from SJC. There's players going up, players going down. In the end, the trades are going to come through, favouring Stratos Element. They get the big AoE heals and the big shield from the front. And Echoes doing great work for both teams. SJC going down, this attack finally being stopped.
Yeah, I think the early picks there really prevented Stratos Element being able to pick a fight any earlier than when they did. But when they picked that fight, they absolutely went in to win it. And What the Heck really being an absolute menace on this Doomfist, I think that might have something to do with Hypnotic swap there, because if you can get the hack onto the Doomfist, it really does shut them down. He's probably the most affected hero by Sombra's hacks. Ooh. An early
nice
kill on
pick.
the PogChamp. Big opening here for Firescale.
Yeah, that's a lot of burst healing gone. Now they've got an opportunity to move forward and put Stratos Element on the back foot. Stratos takes engage on the cart. There's a duplicate on the field, but they run straight into an EMP. It hits 3 members, including that all-important Doomfist. What the Heck, not going to be dancing around so much as Verda flies up the side. Oh, and Sneaky loses the duplicate form. That's a weird icon on the kill feed. Dead duplicate 0. I'm glad we got to see that as Firescale pushed the cart home in the second point.
Yeah, I think they ran out of time in duplicate when they were in the middle of channeling the seismic slam and just fell out of the sky. That was interesting to say the least. Ultimately inconsequential, but interesting. Nonetheless, we'll move over into the third point here, and Firescale continues up this offensive. They have been really strong here once they cap that first point. And, well, we're going to see an opportunity here for the defenders. They've got that super.
Oh, that's a nice fire grenade to SJC. The Sigma is so low, eliminated from the fighters. What the Heck comes down, eliminates Mutnik off the back of that. Sneaky gets one back, removing the Doomfist, but the player advantage is already there for the defenders. As Firescale, they're going to have to fall back and regroup.
Just in the back lines there. By the way, Hypnotic getting slept by PogChamp. Now finally has been chased down by Verda as well. So a little fight going on in the background of the big fight. But PogChamp putting in the work there, neutralizing the enemy Sombra while their team is off fighting.
Nice play from them. They're going to have to wait for the Sombra to respawn before they get their attack restarted. What the Heck? On the sidelines, Hypnotic's making a beeline for the Doomfist, not even opting for a hack. Does force the Doomfist away. That's a nice Hulk Gravitic Flux combination. It catches two. Sneaky finishes them both off, and now Firescale have the momentum they need. You don't even have to be disguised as Hypnotic, run in, SMG blazing, trying to get some hacks. Verda uses the duplicate to copy the Moira, so just trying to get enough healing available on the field to stop this offense coming through from Firescale, but it's not enough to save the Doomfist. Waterhead going down, as is Quack. SJC on a rampage right now. A great bio grenade will come through, hit 4 members of Firescale, but an even better EMP over the top is going to deny any ability usage from the defenders. Firescale pushing the cart home. They're going to make it. Will they make it before overtime is triggered? 7 seconds left on the clock. Yes, they will. 6.4 seconds left on the clock. They push the cart all the way.
And what a great EMP from Hypnotic there at the end. It looked like it was going to be a huge gravitic flux that had picked up everyone. And then Hypnotic's just like, nah, don't worry about it. And the moment was gone. And with that Firescale clean up decisively, they may have had a long time getting started there, but they do finish the map with some time in the bank. And on Eichenwald, that is a win, because it is not the easiest map to finish it before overtime. Heck, it's not the easiest map to finish at all. So they're looking pretty good here. We'll see if Stratos Element can come out swinging, because if they get ground out early on, it's going to be really hard for them to get this one all the way. What they're going to want to do is get a fast early cap and try and blitz through this map.
And if they don't get this map, of course, they'll be sitting against Firescale's match point and coming in, the momentum Firescale will have already coming into the third map is bad enough, but you don't want to be going into playoffs after sitting on top of the division for most of the season and suddenly you find yourself down in second, maybe down in third, just a little bad for the morale. So hopefully they're able to pull it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it should be worth noting that the difference in the teams is Stratos Element have been around for a few months together, whereas Firescale is a brand new team. And not only that, they've got some players out tonight due to other commitments. So the coordination coming through from Firescale is really impressive to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. They are looking like an organized team that knows what they're doing. The comms are looking clean just from how we've seen them playing. So really good work on the part of whoever's doing the shot calling for Firescale, because it has been pristine so far. And Stratos Element, I mean, we saw signs of life for them on this first point defense, but other than that, they have been really struggling in this matchup when they did come into this one the favorites. I'm wondering if they're the ones that we need to see more from them than what we are right now.
Indeed. Well, we've seen some bright spots from Waduhek in particular on that Doomfist has been an absolute terror to the backline of Firescale. Was getting in, getting dirty, doing a lot of work on their A-point defense. Wasn't able to have so much effect, particularly after Firescale made the swaps they did. Also, Apollo, another player doing a really good job on that Roadhog, getting those crucial hooks, just being a nuisance to SJC, reining that Sigma in a little bit. Unfortunately, had to swap away on the last point to their own Sigma just to bring their Creation in and a little bit more shield presence. Wasn't quite able to make the impact they needed. So, Stratos Element, maybe they should dip into those heroes they like playing rather than trying to stick necessarily to the meta if Firescale is going to be walking all over them playing the meta.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll see how they go with this one. They're going to be, by the looks of it, coming out with the Doomfist Echo again. And certainly we've seen them play that really strongly on this first point. Certainly Doomfist, he's pretty good on this map on the whole. There's definitely the terrain for it. The second point, it can be a little harder, but if you pick fights inside the castle, he's got a lot of walls in there. And of course, the bridge is just environmental accidents waiting to happen. So it's really only that first part of B that Doomfist is especially not suited for. And even that has plenty of nearby walls. So definitely a decent map for him. There's just a lot of long-range abilities to potentially get some damage on him early on. So
nice little attempt at the Halter Creation combo, the Fortified forced out of Horrible. As Firescale, they move back onto the point. They're willing to let Stratos Element in and take the initiative on where and when they want to engage. And again, Firescale, a nice coordinated effort, leaving just the tanks on the point. The rest of the team can focus a little more further back. What the heck? Speaking of, in the back lines, gets a nice punch, gets the Orisa out of position, and Horrible's taken down. What the heck? Finishing what they started, gets a nice punch on SJC. These tanks are not going to be long for this world for Firescale. SJC, though, brought back into the fight as Hypnotic's turret's doing a little bit of work. But in the meantime, Stratos Element has been able to make their way onto the point. They've got 90% built up. With the rest of the kills falling their way, they are going to cap it.
I'm really liking that from Stratos Element. I like their game plan here. I'm seeing them using their tanks, trying to go for the Halt Accretion, forcing out the Fortify from Horrible, and that means that when Whateheck's finished his flank around, he drops straight on top of that Orisa and looks to take her out first because he knows that ability is not available. His teams let him know. Really nice game plan there. Worked out wonderfully for them. Now 5 minutes on the clock as they make their way through the gates into second point. This is exactly what we needed from him to get their hopes back into this series.
And I like Stratos Element. PogChamp won the ultimate battle there, filling out their ultimate first. Speaking of ultimate players, Apollo has theirs after picking up the kill onto Mutnik. Alone on the high ground, but doing a great work in a 1v3 as Wonderheck finds the Ash of all things. Horrible finishes off Wonderheck, but the damage is done. The cart pushing forward. Firescale, the last-ditch defense on the bridge, will be foiled by a Gravitic Flux. Liam Fox uses the Fade to get out of that, unleashes the Coalescence off the back of it, as Verda has now copied the Orisa, building up towards that supercharge, so duplicated the Orisa, building up towards the supercharger as there's two Orisas on the field, might be two superchargers coming through for Stratos Element. There it is! There is a light show everywhere. They might be trying to summon something, I don't know. Mutnik got taken, dragged down to hell. The rally not enough to save the Brigida's life as kills coming through for Stratos Element. They are marching forward, showing no signs of that slightly frail defense on their attack.
Yeah, they are surging through this one. Over 5 minutes on the clock as we make our way into the third point. This is looking really nasty. Sneaky's going to be swapping over to the McCree, so looking to get a bit more CC onto the field because Whateheck has been just running rings around this team so far. Huge amounts of impact, and he just keeps going in there. No signs of stopping so far.
And now the defense is surrounded by walls. What can they do? SJC knows exactly what to do. You remove the Doofus from the fight, and you don't have to worry about them for another 10 seconds. A great EMP over the top will clean up the rest of the attacking team. Firescale finally able to halt Stratos' progress for now.
Yeah, and getting that cart stopped on that first corner is so important as well, because this means they're going to get an opportunity to regroup if they lose a fight here. They're in a position where losing a fight doesn't mean that payload is getting all the way to the end, and that's not a position you want to be in, especially with so much time left in the bank here. Supercharger now in, but Whateheck is going to go ham.
Oh, what a meteor strike comes down on the members of Firescale, who were lifted in the air courtesy of Apollo's Gravitic Flux. What a combination coming through for Stratos. They're marching the cart forward, and that last position for Firescale just couldn't stand up in the face of all those ultimates from Stratos.
Yeah, meanwhile Stratos, they've still got the Transcendence and they're about to have a rally and another duplicate online as well. They've got the tools to tap this one out. It's going to be in the retake now. The Transcendence is in, and that's... Ooh.
No, it's not going to say Buddy Ho Bill. The Deadeye going to burn, one hit kills, not going to be stopped by Transcendence, and once it wears off, it's up to Verda with the duplicates, pulling out the supercharger. It's burnt down as is the duplicate. There's a meteor strike on the point, comes straight down. Horrible has the fortify. They're happy to tank through that. Speaking of tanks, there's tanks all over the cart. Hypnotic finishing off the kills. Firescale holding firm 4 meters before the end.
And that's, as we were saying, that's the importance of having that extra fight in the tank. Firescale able to retake control of the payload. Now they're in a decent position. Hypnotic's got the EMP. That should win them the next fight as well. So that's going to be probably another 30 seconds, maybe a minute off the clock before Stratos Element are in a position to try and push it through to the end again. And ultimately, it's going to be ultimate economy here that's going to determine how this one goes. Basically, both of these teams, Stratos Element, they need to build up to the overwhelming ult push again. And that looks like it's going to be slightly... Oh, no. It looked like maybe a player was about to DC, but they seem to have gotten their connection back. But Firescale, they need to win these fights cheaply, as cheap as possible, to really drag out this time. If they overcommit in here, it's going to absolutely put them onto the back foot.
They have one amazing ultimate with which to do it. Hypnotic's EMP is ready to go. It's the only ultimate on the field. Oh, what a stun! The EMP is denied. Quack finishing off the Sombra. I think it was an accretion flying through that stopped the dead. And that big key that Firescale had is denied to them. Oh, and Apollo marches forward, finishes off Sneaky. What the heck getting in there, taking Mutnik out of the fight. A desperate amplification matrix on the cart for Firescale, but there's no one alive to benefit from it. They are being melted down. Stratos element denying the MP is likely going to deliver them the map. Deliver them the map completion here. They do. They finish with a monster 2.5 minutes left in their time bank before adjustments.
That was such a big accretion, absolutely. The thing is, that's just pure bad luck on the part of the Sombra as well, because the amount of time there, you don't have time to cast an accretion when you see a Sombra decloak. He was already casting that. That was just sheer rotten luck for Hypnotic popping up at the wrong spot, dropping out of stealth and catching a boulder to the face.
I want to watch the VOD of that. I think Hypnotic might have actually thrown the translocator in, giving a little suggestion of what they had planned. But, you know, what's done is done. Stratos element setting the tone for this match. They are not out of it yet, no matter how good a map and a half Firescale have. And now Firescale, they're back on the attack, and they will definitely want to repeat their achievement from their first attack, but they're not going to have the time bank with which to make use of it. They're going to have to do it in a lot less time and be a lot more successful. They can't afford to lose any fights.
Yeah, they've really only got maybe one crack at this. They could potentially lose a fight and then come back in for a second one, but with the time bank they're up against, you don't really want to. So it's interesting to see that they're not coming out on the Sombra, given that they've got to be expecting what a heck on the Doomfist here.
So Stratos element, no changes to their initial composition for defense. It didn't work out so well for them, but they've got a little more confidence in the bank, particularly with Apollo on the Sigma doing great work. They lose Quack early, Mutnik hunting them down, but they trade out for Horrible, and that's always going to favor the defending team. What a heck, going to work. You know, it's after hours on a Friday, but what a heck's hours at 24/7 cleaning up Firescale.
Absolutely, and with that, 25 seconds left on the clock. One last opportunity here for Firescale to get some sort of point progress, maybe get the payload going if they absolutely can. But no time for any sort of swaps. They're maybe going to have Liam Fox's Coalescence online during this fight, but that's about all they can realistically hope for here. Meanwhile, Verta getting very close to a duplicate here.
Well, they could come in very handy. There's so many options. Horrible though goes down, goes low. What the heck? Starting off with another kill onto the Reinhardt. Great start. Apollo getting in the action. Mutnik removed from the fight. The big heals, the big barrier gone. And now it'd just be the cleanup for Stratos element. Firescale doing what they can, but they just don't have the numbers or the staying power.
Absolutely, and it's just a meteor strike in the end. He's not going to be able to get much done.
Oh, what the heck?
Oh, the slam on top of the slam.
What the heck is going on?
That is some Space Jam right there. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. What a heck, just putting in an incredible performance there on the Doomfist, and they're just going to shut out Firescale from this first point. Stratos Element looking to pick up Eichenwald. They only need 1/3 of this first point, and they've got 3.5 minutes to do it.
Well, they didn't need 3.5 minutes to do it the first time. They barely needed that amount of time to finish the whole map. So in a great position to level us up here. Firescale, they're going to have to go all in if they want to make an impact and come away with at least a draw.
Absolutely, and that would, that's what they're shooting for here. It's going to be a difficult one to get, but if they can, it does mean that this map, for all intents and purposes, basically hasn't happened. So they wash away the bad, keep the good. It's definitely, it is a little rough. If they manage to hold out against this onslaught for 3.5 minutes, that's the best they can walk away from. Does make it very hard psychologically to really commit to it. Playing for a draw is never fun.
No, it's not, but at least with a draw, they would still be ahead in this series. That have that in their back pocket as they moved on to the Assault map. And, I mean, holding here for 3.5 minutes set you in good step for an Assault map where you pretty much you want to do that again.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Hypnotic on the Junkrat is maybe a bit of a nasty surprise here, but there's plenty of time to adapt to it, so see how that goes. A lot of early spam damage out.
They're looking to catch Waterheck, perhaps. The Doomfist accidentally wanders into a trap, but with the Echo in the air and the Doomfist on the ground, it'd be very hard pressed to catch someone and eliminate them directly with the Junkrat trap. SJC absorbs a lot of damage, putting up those lovely adaptive shields. As Waterheck gets in, gets deep, Verda able to find Horrible. So that big shield presence gone. This is their go signal for Stratos Element. They moved on. Verda removes Sneaky. Waterheck gone. So Hypnotic was able to finish off the Doomfist. But it is all said and done. Stratos Element leveling us up here on Iconball.
A great comeback there from Stratos Element as well. After a really rough first map, they are looking a lot better here. Waterheck running rampant over this match, getting to the point where it's forcing Firescale to disproportionately commit resources against them. And it's with that, it's providing opportunities for Verda or other members of the team to get things going. So looking really good there from Stratos Element. It's what we needed to see from them here, and now we've got a series on our hands.
Indeed we do, and we saw Waterheck light up there, and in the player profiles we get before, thanks to our lovely admin person, I don't actually know what Will's official role is, but the team filled out their profiles, and Waterheck listed as a Doomfist one-trick, and you can see all that time and effort put in. He's put into playing that character is just showing off. We didn't really see it on Nepal. Maybe that's just what they were missing for that first map. But once the Doomfist came out, it was just all starlight in their eyes and carried the day. And I'll be interested to see if they continue on with that and if Firescale has any answer for it.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen that they're willing to go over to the Sombra, and Hypnotic was playing a pretty decent Sombra, but ultimately not able to do enough to shut down that Doomfist consistently, especially when they were on the defense, and Waterheck was able to pick the fights. It is a lot harder when you're playing on the defense because you don't get to pick the fights a lot of the time. You're having to react to them. But obviously, once they were on the attack and Waterheck's able to pick and choose the engagements to go in, it was almost impossible to stop them, and that absolutely came through. Looks like we'll be heading over to Temple of Anubis next, which is another map that we do see a lot of Doomfist on throughout the ages. So definitely an opportunity to still play more into Stratos' element here.
Who knows? Maybe Firescale is just enjoying watching Waterheck play. They want a nice, awesome VOD to watch, so why not let Stratos Element play the heroes they want to play?
Yeah, maybe.
We have seen a little bit of Doomfist out of them. Hypnotic, not only on the Doomfist, proving very versatile. The Pharah is partly what got them their initial point A. Great work on the Sombra. Yeah, unlucky for that last EMP, but the two before that were absolutely fantastic, particularly that one to finish off their first attack. So we might see the Doomfist play, might even see the Junkrat play. Plenty of options for Hypnotic in particular, based on what we've seen over the course of this match, to put into play on Temple of Anubis, in particular that first point A area. There's so many options you can go with. I'll be interested to see what they come out with.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if they've got something up there, got something in their back pocket for this one, because it is a bit interesting to me that Firescale have chosen to go to Anubis here against the Doomfist, but again, it is also a great map for Sombra, especially that second point. Sombra is one of the more reliable ways to get that second point capture. So maybe that's the plan there. Maybe it is the Sombra play. Maybe it's something we haven't seen yet. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe maybe they're just like dive and they want to go straight up dive. It can be done. It's done very difficult. I just like mentioning dive because I like watching dive, honestly. I don't care what map it is. Every map is a dive map if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Dive is all about the execution. As long as you can execute a dive and get the trades you're looking for, then it's going to be effective anywhere. And it's sort of to the point where most people aren't used to dealing with dive anymore. It used to be that it was the first thing you learnt is how to dive and how to deal with dive. And it's been at least a year since that's really been the case.
Indeed, though Firescale, I might be a little bit wary of pulling out the dive, and Apollo has a penchant for playing Roadhog. Of course, if you can get a single hook in on any of the diving heroes, they're eliminated from the fight, and all of a sudden that attack becomes so much harder for the diving team as we load in. I've been enjoying watching Apollo play in particular. That Roadhog was great, but the Sigma, once they switched onto it, he kind of had to. The Roadhog wasn't really working out, but in the end was able to pull out some great plays on the Sigma.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And of course, set up that EMP denial with the accretion. That was the point I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I was expecting you to move on to that one because that was like by and far the biggest play of that match because that EMP should have guaranteed that fight. Canceling it there did mean that Stratos Element finished with the time they did. So maybe if that had been denied, as a result, Firescale were able to hold out a bit longer. Maybe Firescale will successfully defend in entirety. Who knows? But that's
we'll never know.
Yeah,
we'll move on. If depending on what kind of multiverse theory you subscribe to, maybe there's a universe out there that Firescale did win that map, but let's not go there. This isn't that kind of stream. Right now, Firescale is going for the dive that we joked about a little bit, but you know what? They were listening.
Yeah, the old hack and slash Sombra Genji works really well, especially against a defensive team comp where they're all going to be grouped up around a big shield. So I like what I'm seeing, although they do have to contend with what the heck on this Doomfist.
Horrible dive in. I think the Quack was able to get the whip shot on. The Winston just flew away. And it denied so much front pressure on the dive. Quack making inroads, taking the entire tank line down. What the heck removed. Hypnotic coming back, not willing to give up that fight without a fight. Takes out two, and the reinforcements coming back from Firescale will be coming back quite fast as they're both the tanks, both highly maneuverable. It has forced Stratos Element back onto the point for now.
Yeah, Hypnotic actually staying alive there after picking up two, absolutely key here, because this is basically a 6v4 fight now. And there goes Horrible taking out Quack. What the heck goes down again? The Hypnotic on the Genji proving to be maybe what they needed to deal with this Doomfist. Murder finally gets the revenge, but that point is going to be under control here.
Indeed, and Firescale will have been happy to see What the Heck and Quack going down first today with the big impact makers defending against that first attack. So if they want to keep up this momentum, those are two heroes they will want to focus on. Apollo across onto the Roadhog, as we suspected to counter the dive. A great hero for a great player.
Now, this is getting very dangerous, though, because Stinky is about to have the EMP. That is the hack and slash combo about to be online. There's real potential for Firescale to be able to snowball this one. They do have to worry about What the Heck is playing split for the rest of the team. And you can see the defenders, look how spread out they are. They know the EMP is coming. They are not looking to make it easy.
And given the way Hypnotic plays, I'm not sure they'd even need their nano boost. But Liam Fox has it lined up and ready to go regardless. There they go. The Genji goes in the air. The nano boost is out. I'm not quite... No, sorry. Liam Fox goes down before the nano boost is out. But Hypnotic making waves. Sneaker's EMP getting rid of PogChamp. Buddy O'Bill out the point. The Genji in the end not really getting too much value as they are eliminated from the fight. Sneaky's low. SJC out of mech. Stratos Element will be in a position to stabilize here. The duplicate Primal Rage coming through from Verda. No one really to knock around, but why not? Just make sure of it.
Yeah, really nicely played there from Stratos. They knew what was coming at them. They spread out. They made sure you couldn't get a big EMP against them. And I think maybe it might have been a bit of a mistake to concentrate on the Zen there, but maybe they were worried about a Transcendence disrupting their plans. In the end, they don't get a lot of value from that combo, and now Stratos Element, they're in a great position to buckle down this defense.
Hack straight on the PogChamp. We'll get an armor pack almost immediately, but Horrible and the Bio Grenade able to finish off the Zenyatta. No Transcendence. Quack has the rally, brings it out, goes very, very low, but in the end, the rally armor will be enough to keep the Brigitte in the fight. Sneaky removes What the Heck, traded out for Mutnik as the hack wears off, and Verda immediately eliminated from the fight. So the Echo, no reprieve for them, is now a Transcendence on the field. PogChamp finally able to unleash it, but there's no one really to get any benefit from it. Firescale all over this point right now. Hypnotic, almost another Dragon Blade. There's a whole hog coming from Apollo just to push the members of Firescale back. It does a good work. Buddy Bill able to finish off Hypnotic so close to the Dragon Blade. What the heck back out, removing Liam Fox. That will be the turning point. Firescale forced back yet again. 3 minutes 20 on the clock.
Yeah, it was looking good there early on for Firescale, but again, it's Anubis second, and they just weren't able to get that clean team wipe there. And Transcendence maybe looked like it didn't do too much, but it did keep their main tank alive, kept that Orisa going, and that meant that there was time for people to reinforce that point. No progress given up ultimately, and a long stagger onto SJC there at the end as well.
So Firescale coming in again. They've got a lot of the same tools they had in their first attack. Let's see if this time they can put it to even better use than the first attack.
Yeah, it does look like that this time Stratos Element, they're not expecting the EMP, so they're a lot more grouped up. This might be the opening that Firescale
What a heck
needs.
caught out with the hack. The EMP is unleashed onto two members, Apollo and Veda. Veda removed from the fight. The Dragonblade scores big this time. SJC self-destruct over the top, removing the big Orisa presence. Mutnik gets in there. Heck, gone after using the Meteor Strike. The kills this time coming through for Firescale. They clean up two ticks and they're blocking any re-entry coming in from the left side from the attacker's perspective. Apollo gone from the fight. Veda now has a duplicate Winston as horrible eliminated from the fight. The defense is coming out from Stratos Element. They're getting the kills. They need Firescale repulsed again, but this time after capturing 85%.
Yeah, and that's the sort of progress you need on this. It's very hard to get that full sweep where you get the whole point through. So being able to pick up two ticks there, you'd walk away from that one happy. And I want to give a shout out in particular to Liam Fox there, who managed to get the sleep onto What a Heck. Ended up dying almost shortly afterwards, but it is what caused that Doomfist to die. But getting the sleep onto them, stopping their mobility, sets them up to lose. So really nice moves there from Leon Fox, who basically got off the sleep as he was effectively dying from the slam damage. So really nice play.
Speaking of slam damage, Firescale collapses onto What a Heck, finding the Doomfist, removing them from the fight. They've got a Transcendence out of PogChamp on the defense, and it's going to put to great effect, keeping everyone alive. Apollo uses that time to pick Horrible out of the fight. There's another Dragonblade. Hypnotic this time has the Nano Boost in tow, cleans up for this defense. It's going to collapse under the weight of that shiny, slicey blade. Firescale finish off with a minute left in the time bank.
Minute and one, just a great time to have, because it does mean if Stratos Element finish this one in overtime, they are not getting any extra push from that one. So they've got to be happy with finishing with over a minute on that clock. Great place to be here on Anubis. Now the pressure is on the Stratos Element to try and get a quick double cap and take back control of this map.
Yeah, things finally coming together for Firescale. Hypnotic and Liam Fox finally able to get to the point where they had the Nano Boost and the Dragonblade ready to go and get it applied, and it made all the difference. So Firescale showing exactly how a great dive can work when all the pieces come together. And I noticed at the start, and didn't kind of point it out, but you're sneaky pulling duties on the Sombra. So Hypnotic looks like the main Sombra and the main Genji on the team. I was wondering if it was going to be a little of a hindrance having Sneaky on there, maybe a hero they're not so comfortable with, but in the end they're able to pull out some nice EMPs.
Yeah, well, I think maybe just both these players can play Sombra, because certainly this was a map that they chose. This was a comp that they came out of spawn with. And Sombra Genji, very common comp. It is pretty normal for your hit scan player to be a Sombra player in that sort of composition. So I think maybe Hypnotic on the Sombra was really more of the adaptation, because Hypnotic has been primarily the projectile player here. I think maybe Sneaky is probably the main Sombra when they're running planned strats.
That's true, or just both these DPS are so flexible that they defy any description of hit scan or projectile. They can do it all, and I mean ultimately that's what you want, especially when you've got players like Sneaky playing on the Echo. As we talk, the defenders stand strong, remove two from the fight. Stratos Element, they waste about 40 seconds, but they'll be back in no time.
Yeah, it's a good early fight win. Hypnotic 50% to the tile already. Junkrat's able to get so much damage done, and it really has prevented any sort of ultimate progress here from Stratos Element as well. So if they are able to keep this one up, it's looking like a long hold on A, which is exactly what Firescale wants.
Sneaky plugging away in the back line. The damage boost coming from Mutnik going to making life so difficult for Stratos as they find their way in. Oh, a nice Sigma shield. It's going to deny any Halt combos coming out, and they find What a Heck. PogChamp pokes his head around the corner, has it instantly removed. Sneaky doing a fantastic job, almost up to the bob. Hypnotic up to the tire.
Yeah, it's 2 successful fight wins for the defense. We can expect a Riptire for the third one, and if he's able to weave that one through, that should be a free fight win before it begins as well. This is looking good for Firescale, but there is an opportunity. It's just, the tricky thing is that Stratos Element, they don't really have anyone who's particularly good at shooting tires.
No, hopefully some lucky sticky bombs coming up there that are able to capture it. Innistraks losing PogChamp early is so disastrous. The tire cleans up too. Hypnotic gives their life for it, but you're not too worried. The resurrection might be there if Sneaky wants to go for it. Looks like the Mercy is going safely, getting it off.
Yes, that res coming through onto Hypnotic means that no gaps in the defense. And What the Heck's actually going to swap over to the Hanzo now, because they just have not been having a good time on the Doomfist.
Well,
Possibly expect to see a Bob in this next fight, maybe an Amplification Matrix. Ooh.
I always hope to see Bobs in fights. What the heck, if they found the solution to What the Heck's Doomfist, make it so the Doomfist just can't operate. And with Buddy Bill going down again, Stratos Element, they don't even get through the archway.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Firescale. They are locking this one down. Verta now over onto the Widow. They're going for the snipers. Very optimistic to run double sniper against double shield, though.
I think they just wanted to with Sneaky in that backline, but Sneaky proving they can take the 1v2 against any DPS you throw at them, and massive changes coming through from Stratos. Apollo on the Wrecking Ball just to touch the point. Oh no, going to pile drive into the middle of the defending team, doesn't sit in the trap, and Verta finds Sneaky. That was the distraction they needed. The Ash brought back into the fight as Buddy gives their life trying to deny it. And again, Firescale in a dominant defensive position here. PogChamp, the furthest member forward of Stratos Element, but there's not much that Ana is going to do alone on the point. Apollo is there in support. Nice fire grenade coming over the top, but Mutnik's Valkyrie going to make sure everyone is hale and hearty on this defensive high ground. Hypnotic finds PogChamp with a concussion grenade. Another slam coming from Apollo, but there's no one there to follow up on it. Firescale not too displaced.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting strategy here because they're really relying on the Doomfist, the Wrecking Ball's displacement abilities to knock these people out from behind the shields. That said, look at What the Heck on the high ground, managed to flank around into the back on Hanzo.
There's
maybe
Bob.
The best chance, but Bob on the field is going to deny a lot of space.
Another Riptide coming down from Hypnotic will take two again. Bob finishes off Apollo. The minefield being unleashed on the high ground, forcing Firescale off. They lose Liam Fox, but the point is so much control for Firescale. They're going to finish off a full hold on Anubis, putting themselves on match point and on track to take out the match.
Yeah, I think ultimately I can't agree with running double sniper against double shield. It's just going to be really difficult to get those shots through. I can understand needing to control Apollo, but like Apollo, the moment the sniper's there, just gets down from the high ground to the platform behind the shields, and then they're having to commit their main tank just to displace people to get any shots through from their DPS. So I think ultimately not the right play there, and it shows as Firescale were able to completely shut out that first point. We'll be heading over to Escort as our next game mode. And maybe an opportunity here, Stratos. They were playing well on Hybrid before. Can they play just as well here on Escort?
Yes, and we saw them. It's weird that we saw them perform well, particularly on that first point, able to full hold Firescale's second attack on the Iconvolt and then capture it on their own first attack. But then when it came to Anubis, it looked like Firescale was the better control point specialist. So I'll be interested to see if Stratos can convert that escort duty component of Iconvolt to Rialto, and whether or not, we may see another full hold here. We've already had, 2 in the match so far? We might be up for our third and final full hold if Firescale is able to pull it off. Though with them attacking first, at least gives Stratos Element a little bit more time to bring the morale back into line.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to be running defensively here, because I assume What the Heck maybe goes. Actually, I don't know, like Doomfist on this one, I'm not sure, but looks like it might be the Doomfist coming out.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
it's a hard decision to make. You're being beaten when you move off your good heroes, and you have a bit more luck on your best heroes, even if they're not quite meta for the actual meta or for the map. So it's a tough choice you have to make, but I feel for Stratos Element, it might be the right play for them. They've got to pull out all the stops. They can't afford to show any weakness, and if having What the Heck on the Doomfist is your best showing, you go for it.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how Firescale deal with it this time, because they were showing really good performance against it back on Anubis. They were absolutely shutting down the Doomfist, not letting him run rampant over the match. And that's the sort of adaptation. Yeah, it's the sort of adaptation we want. We're seeing Sneaky come out on the McCree, so looking to have some flashbangs to stop him. Hypnotic also coming out on the Doom as well. So a lot of tools in the arsenal of Firescales. We'll see how that unfolds. Already the two teams going into the Shield War, breaking each other's barriers.
QUT moving forward, no stopping it so far. Stratos Element letting it come up to this final corner. Verda removes the Immortality Field. No real kills left in the match. Oh, that Apollo hold just a little at missed time. Horrible goes very low, immediately eliminated by Verda. Sneaky, the first McCree of the match, gets in on the action, removing What the Heck, so trades either way. A Gravitic Flux already online for Apollo, showing you so much damage coming through from that off-tank player. Verda takes Hypnotic, but is countered by Sneaky, the Immortality Field, and to be keeping that McCree alive as they take an accretion to the face. The cart still moving forward. Stratos Element forced to give a little bit of ground, though they only give a tiny bit of ground. What the Heck back in the fight, getting busy, taking the duel with Hypnotic, but Hypnotic able to come out on top. That's going to be a blow to your morale if you're What the Heck. Your best hero counter player part-time.
I think Temporal's breaking up there, but it looks like the members of Firescale here pushing forward. This payload getting very close to capitalizing. Buddy Bill, he's looking to commit down with the... Oh, actually gets disrupted out of the supercharger there. But Transcendent's going to be committed in by PogChamp. They're just trying to keep this one holding. What the Heck has managed to pick up Mutnik, so opportunity here for maybe the defense to stabilize. They don't have a tank though, and that does make it difficult to hold the ground. Vegeta doing the best she can at impersonating a tank. Payload so close to capping through here. There goes Quack as well, and now a Meteor Strike from Hypnotic should end this one here. Buddy Bill getting very close to getting back, doesn't get there in time.
It did force out 3 ultimates from Firescale that they might not have wanted to use, so great work from Stratos, burning a little bit more time and burning a lot of that ultimate bank out from Firescale, making their next attack not so much of a steamroll potential.
Yeah, Hypnotic's actually swapped over to the Genji as well, so a bit of a change there. I'm interested to see how the Genji works out without a supporting Sombra or a supporting Ana there. Genji's sort of a bit rough to play without the right heroes propping him up, so I'm curious on that one, but we'll see how it unfolds.
The cart making its way under Stratos Element, content to sit on the high ground to lose Buddy Bill. Nice hold accretion, going to finish that player off. Apollo gets on back. So far the trades favouring the attacking team. Stratos forced to fight on the cart. It's an all-out brawl. PogChamp will not be long for the sword. Another great accretion. SJC showing up huge in this fight, and with the supercharger to support them, Firescale are going to march through even as they run out of range of the bongo. The second point is all but theirs.
Second point all but theirs does become theirs just over 4.5 minutes on the clock as they make their way into the final part of the map. This can be a definite grind though. We'll see how that unfolds. What the heck, in fact, most members of Stratos Element have ults online. Here they come out. Dragon Accretion.
What a combo. Finishes off to What the Heck, and PogChamp taking a couple more kills off the back of that. Attack repulsed for now, but a couple of ultimates invested in, so it's all good for Stratos so far.
Yeah, I think if you can, the general rule of thumb is no more than 2 ultimates than your opponent committed. So dropping 2 ultimates to win a fight, absolutely fine, especially when the attackers don't commit anything. You wouldn't want to do any more than that, so it's a clean fight win. It's what they're looking for. Now the counter-attack comes in with their own...
And they have the rally to stop the Gravitic Flux making an impact, and crucially they have this Transcendence still online, perhaps waiting for Hypnotic to whip out the Dragon Blade. There it is. Hypnotic though walks straight into a rock from Apollo. Fantastic work. Verda gonna finish off Mutnik. The Transcendence thrown in by PogChamp just to ensure that Stratos stays alive, but this defense is holding.
And Verda running down 3 people on the pursuit, making sure those people aren't getting away, getting a lot of free ultimate charge there. Is eventually chased off by Hypnotic on the Hanzo. But now it's starting to look like this could be the opportunity for the attackers to break through here. They've got a bit of a lull in the ults, but they do have to worry about Buddy Bill's supercharger, which is going to do a lot for getting those ultimates back online.
Deadeye on the ground finds Verda, not able to escape behind the scenery in time. As Firescale used that numbers advantage to their advantage, they move the car around the final turn. Stratos Element happy to hole up inside this tiny room. They've got so much shielding thanks to the walls. They now have Buddy Bill's supercharger online. The damage coming through, the Dragons unleashed, as well as the Graffiti Flux. That's going to force Firescale back around the corner. They're split up. They're going to have to regroup and rethink their approach.
And that one was an expensive one from Stratos Element. They ended up committing 3 ultimates there to get that one stopped up. Didn't actually really bring out a lot of resources from the attackers. So, I mean, Sneaky is going to swap over onto the Echo here. So that is effectively resetting some economy there. But there is a bit of a risk here that Firescale were able to snowball this next fight because they're going to have a lot of things online.
Stratos will be hoping for a miracle hold, perhaps that Rally and Transcendence coming up in a nick of time, or Verda's duplicate. What a whole crazy combo! PogChamp getting the kill, but that was really the tank line picked off SJC, and that is how you win a fight with that ultimates, Pyronius.
Absolutely, it's exactly what they needed there. Now they're able to use the momentum from winning this fight, and they go on the chase. They pick up a couple of kills. They do lose Verda quite late, but the respawn should come through in time. More importantly, it's let them build up some ultimates here so that they don't have Firescale completely up on them. Firescale, 5 ultimates on the bank, sneaky 50% through that 6th one. But unless they can bait out PogChamp's Transcendence, they've got to be very careful about how they use them.
It's a good thing large gatherings are back on the cards for Australia because there's a large gathering of ultimates available. The first 2 kills of the fight going through towards Firescale. The Dragons tearing through. Transcendence from PogChamp enough to keep everyone alive, but once it wears off, Hypnotic finds the Zenyatta as a counter drag coming out from spawn, courtesy of What the Heck, but no one from Firescale is even standing anywhere near it. The supercharger unaffected, powering all that damage coming out from the attacker team. The cart so close to going home. It's 2.33 meters away. There's a double Sigma on the attacker team. There's so many rocks flying through the air. It's enough to get the cart home. Firescale finishing just under 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, it's a good time for Rialto. Rialto not the easiest map. That last point can be an absolute slog to get through, as we've just seen, because Firescale came into it with a lot of time on the bank, and honestly, it didn't even look like they were playing especially badly when they finished with that time. It is just the nature of the map geometry here. It is such a slog to finish that one through if you can't get it through basically on early momentum. And so we see Stratos Element pinning their hopes into this one. It's now their turn to attack. They would want to come through here, blaze through this map, and do exactly that. Cap that 3rd point on momentum alone, and put themselves back into this one, because it is match point. They are up against it. And if Firescale win this one, the whole seeding of playoffs for this division gets thrown into chaos.
Indeed, the pressure is on for Stratos, and if Firescale win, it sets a clear path for Kraken Academy to move ahead and take out the 1st position in the group. And as a result, we would see Stratos facing up against Firescale in the first week of the finals. And that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see the team that just beat you as your first opponent when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah, that would not be comfortable. That's definitely something to try and avoid. So Firescale, well, they're looking to make that happen. They're looking to try and force the rematch next week, win that one, and that is their path to the playoffs here. Stratos Element looking to avoid that fate.
Indeed they are, and they're going all out in this defense. Double Sniper making great use of the sightlines available on this first point, Firescale.
Yeah, I like the double sniper, but it could run into trouble again. Double shield does make it very hard to get those shots through. Admittedly, this courtyard, very hard to get the shields against. And What the Heck getting an early kill on the Liam Fox. There goes
Horrible's caught out of position. That was a really nice flank. Apollo got around the back, stunned the Baptiste, and what the heck, could just fire a single arrow in, finish off the kill. Smart play from Stratos Element. They're getting this attack off to a blistering start.
Yeah, this is going to basically see it come through. There's going to be an opportunity for Firescale to contest here, but they're still not in a great position to contest this. They're very spread out. And again, now you're in a spot where it's really hard to get the angles on the double snipers. So it's very hard to get their DPS actually firing into it. That said, Verta does get picked up by Sneaky. This is what Firescale need as they look to commit into this.
And you can see the benefit of this tank and support line coming through from Firescale. This big beefy tank supported by the Baptiste and the Brigade. There is so much healing available. Just sitting on the cart, allowing the space for the snipers to do the job. Horrible picks up Quack as the Brigade runs in, trying to get some healing done. In the end, though, forced down so low that PogChamp able to finish off the kill. Stratos Element not out of this fight yet. SJC, the lone tank available for Firescale, gets halted a little back in. There's a dragon coming through from the side. Hypnotic unleashing that one across the cart. But it might be too little too late. It's all blue all over the cart. Gravitic Flux lifting Hypnotic in the air. Take them out of range of the cart. 0.06 meters left. As the tank line, Horrible is back. There's an Amplification Matrix out from PogChamp. Making life difficult. There's an errant Immortality Field just standing in the wrong spot. That might have been a misclick. Quack finishes up Mutnik as Horrible is eliminated again, followed by Stratos Element finally finishing point A. 4 minutes 30 left in the time back.
Heroic stall there from Firescale. I think ultimately I was not expecting to be able to put up as much of a fight there as they did. We saw some nice flank plays coming through from both of their DPS as a way to get around those shields. Sneaky putting in a lot of pressure from behind the enemy team, but sure enough, Sneaky will be swapping over to the Echo now. It's just too hard to play double sniper into double shield. You need someone who can flank around behind them. So
the Hanzo's both doing a great job. Another set of dragons unleashed by What the Heck, forcing the defenders off the high ground. They counter with a Gravitic Flux, picks up so many members. Buddy Bill gets slapped down, goes low, as does Apollo, but the healing is so good for Stratos right now. The tanks are being kept back into the fight. No, the burst! Sneaky sneaks through, finishes off 2 players, and the rest of the follow-up is there from Firescale. They're going to hold this cart just under the archway.
it's a good spot to have it there. It's an awkward position to be attacking. A lot of good ground that you can set up as the defenders. You can choose to set up in front of it. You can choose to set up behind it. They're both great positions to hold in. Looks like they will be going for the hold behind it. They're going to use the arch in their defense. Makes sense. That map geography is quite strong. Let's see if there's any changes. No changes yet so far, but that's going to be an amp matrix on the field.
Countered by a supercharger from the attacking team as PogChamp cops a Storm Arrow. Hypnotic finishing that kill off. The Gravitic Flux now coming from the attacking team as the kills go towards the defense. So Apollo's able to get one back on SJC. Verta kills off Horrible. No tank line available for Firescale right now, and that is going to mean there's no shielding to cover the rest of the team as they are melted down. Sneaky and Hypnotic getting a couple of kills back. Sneaky up in the air with the Echo being a nuisance. Is able to stop the car and now has the rally. Has the Brigitte. Might be building up towards that rally. So Firescale doing a great job of holding on. Apollo removing the removing Hypnotic for the fight. Apollo themselves though removed as the rally online for Sneaky will be enough for the defense to reassert their dominance on the cart.
Yeah, Firescale, they've really been going for these high-risk defense plays, but this time it works out. They're able to stop that payload up, and that is fantastic because this is going to give them so much extra space. Again, maybe they're looking to shut this one down here. It's usually not that the payload is stopped in the second point of any of these escort maps, because just the way the maps work, it can be very hard to stop the second half of that, but we do see it occasionally, and Firescale looking to do it here. So they buckle in on that one, but that's a nice Dragons.
Indeed, it forces out the Immortality Field, which gets burnt down immediately. The survivability gone for the defending team for the moment. They have another rally on the field, courtesy of Mudnik, the actual Brigitte on the team, and SJC wasting none of that armor, charging forward and moving 2. Sneaky picks up a kill. Another fight gone for the attacking team.
A minute 20 left on the clock, which means that realistically we're going to have 2 more fights. Maybe a third if one of those is over especially quickly. But we're seeing a full comp swap coming through from Stratos Element. They've Verta going over onto the Reaper. What a heck, back onto the Doomfist. They're bringing out the Ryan Zaya and PogChamp going over to the Moira as well. So that's risky at this point because they're probably not going to get any of those ultimates online. It's looking really good here for Firescale, and the amount of time that burned off the clock as well means that there's less time for team fights.
When in doubt, brawl it out. They're going to be relying on that rally from QUT to provide them all the sustainability they need to essentially win the neutral fight. They drop down onto the high ground. The brawl is on. Buddy Bill swinging away, but goes low, gets eliminated. Hypnotic finding that Reinhardt's giant head. The Death Blossom over the top from Sneaky will remove 3. And just like that, Stratos Element sent back to the drawing board, and there's a chance no one might make it back.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely rough. They might be able to touch. They've got some fast heroes in here. They've got a Wrecking Ball. They've got a Doomfist. They should be able to get the touch. And then it looks like Buddy O'Bill will be able to get onto that payload as well. But this is not a comfortable position. They do not have the full team here.
PogChamp did put up the Coalescence in what might be Stratos' last fight of the map. But Sneaky over the top. 2 kills, that focusing beam burning down Waterheck, and Buddy O'Bill finishes up with a kill onto Verta. This Echo is going to carry the fight, removes Quack. Liam Fox finding Apollo, overtime burning down. That's it. Firescale seal the deal. They win the match and well, everyone was in the playoffs anyway. They won the match.
Yep, they've won the match. They've thrown the group into chaos. Seeding is now going to be determined on the other matchup tonight. Stratos Element, they no longer guaranteed the first seed in playoffs, and these two teams may be going head-to-head again next week for that first round of playoffs. So no longer the comfortable position that they once had. Stratos Element now going to have to play for it.
Yep, at least the silver lining that comes out of this for them is they've now got VOD to watch. They know exactly what Firescale would throw at them. And, I mean, when it comes to what Firescale is throwing at you, how can you go past Hypnotic, proving so flexible, unleashing that Genji? We saw it on Anubis, we saw a little bit on Rialta, but, I mean, once the Nano Boost was in play, there was nothing to stop Hypnotic.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with just Firescale's game plans in general. Like, as you were saying earlier on, this team, they're running with some subs, but the shot calls have been clean. They've got plans. They've got great set plays that they're bringing out, and yet despite it's as if this is the normal roster. They are playing so well together. So I don't know who the shot caller is for Firescale, but they've done an incredible job tonight, and they've put on a great show for us.
That they haven't. Also, SJC on that off tank they played.
Oh yeah,
they played most of the off tanks, but the Sigma play at the end, doing a great job, not only supporting Hypnotic on the Hanzo, but when it came to pushing forward on the defense, was leading the charge, often running ahead of Horrible, and I guess a Sigma probably do that. Floating's faster than a Centaur, apparently. But not only that, had the gravitic flux there at the right time, the great accretions, combining them with the halts coming out from Horrible, was doing a fantastic job. So really, really good work from SJC.
Yeah, definitely. All of these players putting on a great performance tonight, but it's not over yet. Stick with us. We will be back after the break to bring you the next matchup of the evening. We'll be dropping down to Division 4 for QUT Anomaly versus MGSharks. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back real soon.
Yeah, what's up with it? Yeah, with it. Yeah, what's up with it? up with it? Yeah, with it.
Welcome back, everyone, to round 5 of Ascent, hosted by Amateur Oceanic Esports, sponsored by My Republic Gamer. If you're just joining us, I'm Baronius. Joining me tonight, as always, is Temporal, and we have just finished up the Stratos Element v Firescale match earlier this evening, which Firescale picked up a 3-1 victory. Coming up next, QUT Anomaly versus MGSharks.
Yes, QUT, the Queensland University of Technology. And I was doing a little bit of research before this match, Porinis, not only on the players, but on the teams. And did you know that Queensland, I'm going to call them QUT, did you know that QUT has an esports arena? I mean, what?
That's pretty cool.
Things have changed since I was at uni. Esports arena is not really a thing back in the day, but holy cow, they have an esports arena. I kind of want to go back, but I don't think I'd qualify for any kind of esports scholarship unless they want to do a real life bronze to grandmaster over the course of 4 years.
Yeah, I think my uni has, I suppose, what you could call I can't even call it an esports club, but it is a video games club. But they're almost exclusively league players, and so I haven't had much to do with them as a result.
What's funny you say that, because the QUT has a league team that I believe they're targeting OPL.
Okay.
I mean, it all ties in very nicely. And just to talk a bit about their record so far in Ascent, because this is Ascent, we should probably focus a little bit on that. Anomaly, as I'll call them, because QUT is a whole lot of syllables. Actually, QUT Anomaly. Anomaly is more syllables. It just seems so much easier to say.
Less vowels. Well, actually, there isn't less vowels, but less vowels stuck together.
Yeah, that's really... Anyway.
That's so much sounds.
They, actually, I'm getting really distracted, but they have a great logo. It's their logo is the image of the black hole from Interstellar, the movie, not the team in another division in Ascent. And I love that movie, so I love seeing that team. I've had fun researching this team, is what I'm trying to say. However, in Ascent, they haven't had much luck. It's currently on the bottom of the group. They did play really well against No Ducks Given last week. No Ducks Given, the top team in this division. They went down 2-3, but they've been improving over the course of the season. And given the way we've seen the last couple of matches go with the the statistically lowest seeded team coming in and taking the victory in convincing fashion, I would be a little worried if I was the MG Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we've seen if last week's result is not a flash in the pan, we've seen a lot of improvement from QUT Anomaly. I mean, they went down, as you said, early on. They lost first couple of rounds, 0-2. They had a bye week, then they've come back quite strongly against No Ducks Given. So maybe a chance for improvement in that sort of intermittent space. And this is actually quite a strong roster now, maybe. Maybe they just found a strategy that works for them. MGSharks, on the other hand, they've had a mixed table of results. I mean, they also had a 2-3 loss against No Ducks Given. So it seems No Ducks Given, while they are the number one team in the division, I think they've been giving up a lot of maps.
Speaking of not giving up maps, MGSharks hasn't had a single 0 in their score lines yet. They've had a 3-1, a 3-2, and a 2-3. So that's left them in fourth in the group, but they can actually move up with a win today. They will overtake the East Coast Krakens, who we saw last week, go down to Orion Beetle. East Coast has the bye this week, so their results are fixed. All MGSharks need to do is win this match. They'll move up into third, and there's also an opportunity for them to move into second place if they win and No Ducks Given take out Orion Beetle. That would put MGSharks into second place, though the second and third moving around isn't that big a deal because you can end up playing each other anyway. Just about making a statement, really.
Yeah. That's understandably so.
Just to finally touch on that other match going on, No Ducks Given playing Orion Beetle this week is playing for first place in the group. So MGSharks do have a vested interest in that match. If QUT is able to take away the win here, MGSharks will finish fourth, and they'll be playing the winner of that other match that's going on this week. So they'll be looking forward to that result. Hopefully, it's a team they're comfortable against. We'll find out. Of course, they have to get through Anomaly first, and the first map, as always, will be Nepal. Interested to see what we will start out on. Not only because I just like continuing the meme that we always start on Village, even though we don't, but it'll give a little indication of what the teams want to run, particularly if we go to somewhere like Shrine. I think it's probably the best indication of what a team is comfortable on, as opposed to running what's good for the particular map.
Yeah, definitely the most opportunity on Shrine to pull out a variety of different compositions. Certainly, I think we can expect a variety of compositions from MGSharks just from the, I suppose, bit of a reputation they have. We could see some very interesting compositions come out from them. They are a bit of an interesting one because they have players all over the spectrum when it comes to SR. They, unlike a lot of these teams, aren't all the same rank. We've got people who have highs and masters. They've got people who've never left gold. They are all over the place. But they are our AoE Lucio Ball champions, or at least have previously been our Lucio Ball champions. So they definitely a team that has some pedigree, and it's interesting to see how they go up here against Anomaly looking to play spoiler.
And potentially a fight over who gets to play Lucio. I mean, Lucio Ball champions suggest you've got 3 fantastic Lucios on your team. Who gets put into that duty will be a surprise, of course, with the 2-2 roll. Like only 2 people really vying for that position. It will likely come down to Yevi or TCAK. I'm going to shorten to TC for ease of talking, both listed as their support players for the team.
Absolutely. But for that, I mean, I feel like we just take away hero limits, let them all play Lucio. I would love to see 6 Lucios. It would be terrible. Don't listen to me. This is why I cast and not admin tournaments.
Anyway, let's introduce the teams. On the side of QUT Anomaly, who's starting on the left, we've got Alcades, Strange, Smashy, Botniks, Thyravia, and Snow. For the side of MGSharks, we have Thostwoon, Warden, Prime X, Yevi, Glacy, and TCAK.
Absolutely. Also, a couple of MGSharks players on the bench at the moment, but maybe getting subbed in later on. We have Magix and Mafia Monkey in reserve as well, so might be seeing some of those. Right now, we're just waiting on the teams to settle themselves in so that we can get this one started. And not 100% sure exactly what we're waiting on, but we do seem to be still awaiting a few things. That's fine.
We're discussing important things such as our sponsor tonight. So My Republic, if you're looking for a great MBN service and you want to make sure you are a gamer and you want to make sure that your traffic is getting to the servers via the most optimal path possible, then My Republic Gamer package is the package for you. They also offer support via Discord, which is where we're all sitting right now. And speaking of Discord, nice little segue, make sure you join the AOE Discord. You can find the link below the stream. You can also find the link available on the website, aoesports.com.au, where you'll also find the links to our Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram pages to keep abreast of anything AOE. And I believe I just saw the Valorant section of AOE go live to deviate out of Overwatch a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. There are definitely some changes happening in the AOE Sports Discord as we look to broaden into other areas, and this new game by Riot about particularly valorous insects is definitely popular at the moment. We'll see if anything comes out of that, I'm sure.
But right now we're sitting in Overwatch, and for these two teams coming out, they were discussing their favorite chip flavor before. I saw some salt and vinegar on there, and that's always a good choice. Smashy chiming in with that one there. Thyravia also coming in with that. So, I'm inclined to agree. I do enjoy it as salt and vinegar when I go for chips.
I basically couldn't agree less. Ironically, I think it's
the one salt and vinegar.
It's the one chip flavor that I definitely cannot stand. It's certainly the one common chip flavor that I do not like. I don't know what it is because actually I think it's just I don't generally go for vinegar on the whole, I guess. But it's weird because I normally like strong flavors, but apparently vinegar is not one that I'm down for.
You just don't like cleaning products on your chips.
Probably not.
I have vinegar in my house. The only thing it's used for is cleaning. Cleaning drains for that matter. So it's not just a regular cleaning product. It's something I used to get out grime and stubborn stains. So I feel like I'm advertising some kind of cleaning product here. I'm not advertising anything. Just standard vinegar is fine for whatever you need. Just don't drink it like water. I thought it would be a good idea once as a kid, and I regretted that. It does not taste anything like water, no matter how much it looks like water or even lemonade.
Oof. Speaking of always starting on Village, though, that is indeed where we will be. Both of these teams locking in the maze as well. In fact, May McCree for both teams, which is not the standard rollout here. So it's interesting to see the mirror comp in that regard. It's not a full mirror because we do have the Zarya on the side of MGSharks, whereas Strange over for QUT going to be playing on the D.Va. So that's quite a difference.
Both teams mirroring their respective approaches to the point. Anomaly the first on the point. Oh, sorry, I take that back. MGSharks the first on the point. Anomaly trapped outside a nice wall, going to ensure that the kills come through for the side of MGSharks. They take control of the point, but they're not capping any percentage yet. It's unlocked, so they're just happy to chase down the remnants of Anomaly.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see. Okay, they are going to head back to the point now. I was wondering how long it would go until someone addressed that, because certainly there was an opportunity to... Some of the support players hanging back could have capped it out and chose not to, but they will get the percentage progress building up now. Strange has swapped immediately over onto the Zarya, so not going to be running that D.Va anymore. But Warden, 75% towards the Deadeye. So much damage done in that first fight on the McCree.
That's a lot of damage coming out, and that's where you want to see out of your DPS. TC the one on the Lucio, the champion Lucio ball player on the Lucio. Primex coming out close to the Earth Shadow. Great fire strike through the members of Anomaly as the Coalescence is exhausted for both sides. Earth Shadow down. Primex gets killed immediately after deploying at Snow with a boot kill of all things. They trade out for the opposing Ryan in Alcides. So no big shield presence on the point. It's going to come down to who can do the most damage. A nice wall from Smashy, followed up by the Blizzards, going to trap a couple of members of MGSharks on the point. Those two are cleaned up nicely, and the Moira is there for a little bit of stall, gaining a little bit more percentage.
Primex has made it back.
Yeah, made it back. There's still a fair bit of support for them, but in the end, Anomaly trying to flip the point back, but MGSharks proving a little bit of a nuisance. Yevy finally eliminated from the fight. That will be that.
63%, however, gained in basically 2 fights. It's not bad at all, and I think if they'd captured that first point, they could easily be above 70 if they'd gone for an early cap there instead of just chasing after the frags. So, looking really good for MGSharks, but finally, QUT Anomaly, they're in a position to start fighting back. They're building up a percentage of their own.
A nice Graviton Surge catching Primex to charge, finishing off the Reinhardt. And MGSharks came in with a lot to work with, but in the end they couldn't use any of it.
It's not the worst thing in the world, though. The last thing you want to do is commit a bunch of ultimates and then lose. So the fact that they didn't use anything there, considering that they were initiated against, smart play from them, because now they're going to be able to come into this next fight. Lots of resources in there. That said, Anomaly still have a fair amount of resources of their own. And Strange getting an early kill into Warden's going to buy them some more time as well. So this is not over yet. Anomaly still in a strong position on this point. We'll see if MGSharks can unseat that once all of their members are back together.
Events unfolding in Anomaly's favour. They cap the point with only a couple of ultimates to the name, but a short fight and a half later, they've got the tools they need to counter what MGSharks is going to throw at them. With Deadeye, a zoning Deadeye, it doesn't even have to be zoning, picks off the Zarya. That Graviton Surge off the field, nice Earth Shatter coming through from Alcides into the Blizzard. Primex removed from the fight, as are so many other members of MGSharks. 80% on the board now for Anomaly.
Yeah, it's a good fight there, but I feel like maybe they used a little too many ultimates there, considering they haven't seen any out of MGSharks. MGSharks, they're going to have one more chance to cap this. Snow's got the sound barrier, but that's really all that they've got in there. Meanwhile, MGSharks are going to have almost all of their ultimates in this fight.
Yeah, these Coalescence will see them onto the point, but a great wall catches Primex out, charged and destroyed. The Blizzard and Sound Barrier has to be invested just to make their way on the point as Warden picks up 4 with the Deadeye. That is what MGSharks were looking for. They've cleaned up the point, they're capping it back. This will be a round. Not quite going to them, sorry, they're still on 65%. But a nice retake, but it did require all their ultimates.
Yeah, it was an expensive investment there, and that is going to give an opportunity here for Anomaly, who obviously only had the one ultimate in that fight, used the sound barrier, not enough against all of those ultimates. They do have to worry about Primex's Earth Shatter. That could still be a deciding factor, but the grab from Strange with no counter available to top it up could absolutely end this match.
Baravia almost on top of the Coalescence with the first support to get it online. There is the Graviton Surge. A nice wall going to prevent a lot of follow-up. Botniks finds their way around as both Reinhardts trade Earth Shatter kills, but the tank are all alive for Anomaly. They're going to capture the point back, and there's little to nothing that MGSharks can do about it. First round going to Anomaly.
Yeah, it was looking really rough in the early stages of this matchup. MGSharks rolling over those first couple of fights, but Anomaly coming back in a big way to win that one out. In the end, I think both of these teams maybe overcommitting ultimates a little too much ends up being both of their dooms. So we'll see if these teams are able to make the adjustments, maybe conserve some of these ultimates, because I think with how close it's been in the back and forth, the team that's able to do it cheaper is the team that comes out on top.
And we might go back a little to our conversation of the multiverse. I wonder what would have happened if MGSharks had taken the point that 5 or 6 seconds earlier. Would it have been enough time for them to get up to 100% and prevent Anomaly from re-engaging? Again, we'll never know. If someone invents some kind of device that allows us to get there, please let me know. But we move on to Sanctum. So still no Shrine coming up for us, hopefully. Sharks able to level us out. I would like to see Shrine at some point, unless Blizzard has stealth removed it, in which case they go back to Village. But right now, both teams opting for different setups. MGSharks sitting in the corner and Anomaly hunting them down.
Yeah, this is not the first time we've seen a Reinhardt played here, and it worked out quite well the last time we saw it as well. It's not a common pick, but I mean, early point presence has basically gone over to Anomaly, but they're going to bait in the members of MGSharks. They want to take the fight here on the point.
That turret on the side proving an absolute nuisance to Strange's mech. So Smashy is the first removed from the fight. Now Anomaly hold up in that room. They're losing members left, right and center. Glacy is traded out. The Warden going to be doing the McCree's work. Just taking out for the efforts in the end. MGSharks coming away with the first capture again. Yeah,
they managed to get the capture there. I think, yeah, once they lost Smashy on the Echo and it was a 5v6, they kind of... I don't know if I liked their game plan there. They had the point control and they backed off into the room and baited the member of MGSharks down towards them, but then they didn't really follow through. They didn't have a way to deal with that torp turret, and Warden was getting a lot of damage in there as well. So I think maybe the retreat, maybe they needed to retreat, but I don't really like it. It didn't really work out for them.
Katie's marching for the turret, plugging damage into the shield, going to be denying a lot of protection. As there's a nano boosted Orisa on the field, Primex trying to get the damage. The sound barrier will be there to keep all the members of MGSharks alive on the point as they corral Anomaly into that room and again cut them down.
Yeah, MGSharks, they're really playing this one well. Again, they've won 2 fights there. They've really not committed a lot of resources. I mean, they've used both their support ultimates. They've been holding on to both their DPS and tank ultimates. But it's strange that the team running the Orisa is the one ramming their opponents into a tight space. Normally that is a Reinhardt job. When you're playing against a Reinhardt, being able to aggressively maneuver like that, it shouldn't be happening, but it is.
Well, Anomaly really like that room. They make a beeline for it. Strange cleans up 3 kill of the self-destruct. That is the play they were looking for. Anomaly take the point. MGSharks forced back to their spawn.
Yeah, they've managed to cap that one over, but again, they've invested a lot of resources to do it. The Diva Bomb won the fight on their own, but Smashy used the duplicate as well, not getting any value from that ultimate there. This is going to be an opportunity here for MGSharks, who still have 4 ultimates, come back swinging hard. Looks like they've had a DC as well. Snow actually dropping from the lobby, so that is yet more resources used up. It's going to be a full ultimate reset. It is thankfully the Lucio who can get back pretty quickly, but at the same time, I mean, their team is posted very far forwards. They are vulnerable to getting rushed here by MGSharks, and if MGSharks are able to quickly group together and rush this point, that could be the end of this one.
And they're going to be 100% of their ultimate away from a sound barrier, and that's something they'll really need to survive the onslaught that could be coming through from MGSharks. Thost has the self-destruct of their own, the superchargers there, the molten core is there. It's going to be very difficult for Anomaly to put up a fight without that Lucio.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable position to be in. I mean, they do almost have the Earth Shatter. A good Earth Shatter could buy them the time they need and keep them in this one, but so many resources. They have to worry about the molten core as well. Without a Lucio to get them out of dodge, there's a lot of danger from that in tight spaces.
MGSharks willing to ignore the defending team for now. They're going the other way. So supercharger on the field, pumping in so much damage, forces Anomaly in the room. What a play! Glacy runs forward with the molten core, lays down so much lava that Anomaly has to run out. Arcades has the Earth Shatter, lays it down, but the turret combined with the molten core from Glacy is far too much for Anomaly to deal with. As they're forced back, MGSharks taking the point.
That was just brutal to watch. At the moment I saw them go into the room and I hear the molten core come out, I'm like, oh no, you're in the worst spot. And with that, the point in favor of MGSharks, we see Smashy go over to the Doomfist. And that might be the comeback they need here. The Deadeye also not getting purchased here. Botnik's on the hunt.
Yeah, Botnik's dealt with the Torbjorn and the Torbjorn turret. Smashy getting in deep, finishing off Warden. Thoswoon takes the Doomfist out, but it's a nice trade so far. Self-destruct over the top from Thoswoon to clear some space as Primex sees the nano boost wear off. MGSharks all over the point. I'm not sure if they wanted the sound barrier there, but then again, you're in overtime. Why not be survivable? You get the cleanup kills you need. Just Smashy rushing back to the point, but too little too late. MGSharks evening us up here.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I think Anomaly perhaps fixating on that room next to the point rather a little too much. It seemed like anytime anything happened, their first instinct was to run back into that room. But with what they're up against, it's not always the position to be in. They found themselves regularly stuck in there. Like once they went to that room, they didn't really have anywhere to go from there, and they just found themselves aggressed upon and taken out. So I don't know. They seem to do it a lot, which makes me think it was at least something that was being called out. It wasn't an accident that it kept happening, but it really was not working out for them. Now we finally are going to transition over to Shrine.
Good to see it still exists.
Yeah, good to see it still exists. And this is going to see a very air-based composition coming out from Anomaly, running both the Echo and the Pharah.
The Sky Comp, as we named it a few weeks ago. No one else has caught on with the name, but I'm hoping it does. Smashy removes Warden, and the big counter to those two heroes in the sky is gone, as is Primex Smashy melting through the front line of MGSharks. Resurrection will bring the Echo back into the fight. It is a 6v4 on the point. Smashy, again, the kill feed is all Smashy all over. That will be Anomaly taking up first position on the point and taking up the first cap for the first time in the match. At least if they can clear off TC.
There we go. Yes, they're going to start building up that percentage. Smashy and Botnik's both putting in a good performance. It may have been Smashy cleaning up those kills, but Boxnik at 74% says those rockets were landing. So really good work from the two Anomaly DPS working in tandem to drop those players. And we've seen some changes come through. Glacier going to go over onto the Soldier 76. So they're pulling out the double hit scan to try and deal with these airborne threats.
Now Primex goes in, almost immediately burnt down, has to back away with the shield. The support's doing a great job keeping their Reinhardt alive. Warden in the backline, so low, can't put as much pressure on the Skyborn heroes of Anomaly as they light. And there is the barrage over the top, removes Glacier from the fight. Warden finds the pick onto Botnik, but Nix again. Thyravia there with the resurrection, bringing the fire back into the fight. The player advantage reasserted for Anomaly. Forces the sand barrier to be used by CK's. Warden picks Botnik again. No resurrection available this time. There's two Reinhardts on the field for Anomaly, courtesy of Smashy. Has an Earthshatter, lays it down. Katie's has their own Earthshatter, a strange knocked out of Meg. There's the Earthshatter, lays down 4, but gets killed. The boot from TC, followed up by the Deadeye Water, enough to clean up the fight. MGSharks taking the point in almost stunning fashion.
Yeah, 68% is a decent place though, and Botnix is going to be swapping off the Pharah over to the McCree. Very hard to retake from the Pharah. And I do want to talk about the Smashy Reinhardt there, because that ended up being key, even if it didn't result in winning the fight, because it meant that one Reinhardt could keep the enemy Reinhardt under control while the other one blocks the self-destruct. Only when there's a self-destruct going off as Reinhardt, you have to think about, do I block the self-destruct or do I keep the enemy main tank in check? They were able to do both because they had two big shields.
A coordinated push from Anomaly coming around the side of the map against the wall. Prime X's shield being very, very well pressured down. The sticky bombs is sticking to it. It's forced to crack. The Reinhardt backs off, has to recharge the shield. Now they're swinging into each other. Prime X gets the better of the fight. Arcadie's going down. The photon barrier on the field is going to split any attack from Anomaly in half as they're forced back. As Smashy just gets away with their life.
It's really interesting that Glacier's gone over to the Symmetra here. I mean, obviously they saw the swap away from Pharah and went, well, I don't have to play another hit scan now, but Symmetra is still a strange pick as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe it's there to help put some more pressure onto Diva, and the barriers from Reinhardt. She is a good shield eater. She's going to do a lot of horrible things to those tanks, but...
Speaking of horrible things to the tanks, Hyravia is down. Snow's Coalescence not enough to keep the Lucio in the fight, and those turrets going to work. Glacy. That is why you bring the Symmetra to the fight. They put up the photon barrier. Again, that's about 2 photon barriers in 2 fights. That is why the Symmetra's on the field. So much damage being pumped out and not much contesting from Anomaly to those turrets.
Yeah, I mean, they had people stuck in the grav there, just not able to deal with the turrets that was zapping into it. So that's a lot of damage for free happening there. Not a lot of long-range DPS to deal with it. Smashy's going to have a hard time getting angles on there. You don't really want to be in that tight spaces, and this is looking really good for MGSharks. Already 2.5 up, 3 up, 4 up in this fight.
Indeed, the photon barrier splitting Anomaly in half, and once that happened, the healing wasn't able to get across the barrier. MGSharks clean up celebratory sound barrier as they close out Nepal and put themselves 1 up in this series, looking to stake their claim on the 3rd place in the division.
Yeah, I mean, MGSharks, they maybe looked a little vulnerable back in Village. Anomaly able to take that one away, but they've been looking a lot stronger in these other 2 matches here so far. Good start in Control. We'll be heading over next, as always, to Hybrid, and Anomaly will have the choice of maps here. Let's see where they want to go to try and bring this one back.
Indeed, I'll be curious as to where they take it. So we saw them throw a few different compositions, but mainly sticking with Al-Qaeda's on that Reinhardt. So I feel they'll be looking for a map where they can make use of that. Typically, you'll see the main tanks on Nepal switch between Orisa and Reinhardt if you want to play the ground-based brawly compositions. So maybe I get the feeling Al-Qaeda's perhaps not as comfortable on the Orisa, and therefore, it might telegraph a little bit of what Anomaly wants to throw out when it comes to map picks.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's a shame, though, because Orisa is such a powerful tank right now that having a main tank that isn't comfortable on it really does set you at a definite disadvantage. So it is unfortunate if that's the case, but it's one of the reasons I don't play as much Overwatch. It's because I don't want to be playing Orisa. Who wants to play Orisa, honestly? But looks like we'll be heading over to King's Row for our next map.
I don't know about you, but I like pressing left click.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Press E every 6 seconds or 8 seconds or whatever it is at the moment.
Who knows? Yeah, and then you get to vary it up. You get to press shift every now and then and say, you can't kill me, and then you press E again and your shield comes back out. I mean, it's a great life.
It's a great life.
It's the equivalent of playing Lucio on the cart and tweeting. You can tweet while you're playing Orisa. You only need one hand.
Amazing. We will be having a swapping of sides. So Anomaly now going to be playing from the red, MGSharks from the blue. As we will have MGSharks on first defense here for King's Row. Just to keep you appraised there as we get ready to head into this next matchup.
So as we come into it, QUT Anomaly, they need to bring something special out here on King's Row, and they've shown that they're willing to play that brawl composition. We saw both teams run out on that main McCree. If they can make it work here on King's Row, this would be the best place for it. May McCree not only good on this map, just as a general brawling map, but it has been the default meta composition for the large part of this year. So hopefully these teams are quite well practiced on that composition, in addition to it being a good, solid home on King's Row.
Absolutely. We're heading into here to see what these teams have to show us in just a moment. Again, it will be MGSharks on first defense, so they will be playing from the blue now, and we'll see what they come out of spawn looking to do here. Will it be a Reinhardt composition because it's King's Row, or will they go for an Orisa composition because Orisa is really strong?
Well, it looks like they might be sticking with the Reinhardt, and why not? You saw how good Primex was on the hero. I mean, swinging away, getting the better of Al-Qaeda's in a couple of battles. Also, when you have the support of an Echo, it makes your life a little easier.
Definitely, those double Reinhardts are still a nightmare that, if I played Overwatch more often than I do right now, I'd probably be having nightmares about having to deal with enemy Reinhardts.
Well, don't play Reinhardt, play Echo. You get like 10 minutes in the queue. You can go watch some YouTube videos, and you get to play as Echo, and you still get to play every hero. It's like playing mystery heroes in ranked. In any case, MGSharks rolling out on the defense to that Reinhardt Zarya, backed up by the double hit scan.
Yeah, maybe expecting the reprise of the Pharah here, but so far nothing coming out here from Anomaly. Going to rotate around onto the high ground. They're playing the main McCree. Closing the difference. Botnik's not making the jump. Half the team not making the jump there, but it's fine because we see the rotations coming through. MGSharks giving a lot of space, a lot of respect to this team, not wanting to get caught out in an awkward spot.
That wall telegraphing a little bit where Anomaly would come out, but they make their way onto the point. MGSharks marches into them, but Primex falls afoul of Botnik's. The big shield is gone. It means MGSharks are going to have to hole up in the Old Earth Hotel, going to a temporary self-quarantine, and it is long enough for Anomaly to make a move onto the point. They've got 2 ticks already. No one's going to be re-engaging for the defense. Anomaly taking point A almost unopposed.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting one. A few people jumped in late, I suppose, trying to reset, but it means half the team is just not going to be spawning with them. The other half actually do manage to retreat in good order, and Warden's actually going on the offensive now, which almost perhaps to his benefit got walled off and away from it, because that was like a 3v5 or a 3v6. I don't like his chances there, but still they will, as a result, be able to get an early defense around this bookstore, Anomaly not pressing their advantage.
No, they don't need to. When you've got Sharks walking straight into you, Alcides gets the first kill of the fight, then takes a nap. But Thyravia is there with the Coalescence to finish off Yevi. Botnik's taking Glacier out. That's the forward hold stymied for Sharks as QT Anomaly now takes control of the streets.
Absolutely, and I like this position here. Now they're actually staying up at the end of streets. They've got the ground, they can hold it. I'd almost like to see more of them pushed up, but they're opting to have 3 people on the payload instead. Could have potentially held that first corner in the 3rd stage of the map. Now the wall is down though. Here comes the Shatter.
Nice Shatter, but unfortunately into a bubble and a shield. The Deadeye not going to get much value. Primex follows up on their own Shatter with the nano boost. Picks up 4 kills. Glacier getting a final one, but that is the attack stopped for the moment.
Is there anything more terrifying than a nano-boosted, speed-boosted Reinhardt coming straight at you? That is the question I'd like to ask. But certainly for the members here of... Shoot, I've lost my team. The members here of Anomaly. Yeah, they did not have a great day there. I've lost full rhythm.
That's okay, the wall coming out, protecting the approach from Anomaly, and Earthshatter goes down, lays down 1 as the rest of the defense caught in the Graviton Surge. But you know what? You've caught Bob in there. That's not who you want to stick in a spot where you can't get it. And Bob plugging away. The Blizzard invested onto the cart, Smash using it to finish off Primex. Warden down, and what looked like a disastrous fight for Anomaly has come out on top, though there was required quite a significant investment from them.
Yeah, it has been the overall theme in this match. Both teams heavily investing ultimates into these fights. And I suppose you sort of get away with it if your opponent's making the same mistake, but this is sort of what sets these teams sort of apart from some of our higher division teams, is that level of ult economy and how well they manage it.
Glacier now out on the Junkrat, and Earthshatter invested by Primex right into the shield of Arcades. Great blocking there by the Reinhardt. Botnix finishes off TC. The Licio gone. Primex is back out, has the nano boosts. The Fire Strike's going to clean snow off the cart. It wears off, but the damage is done. No Lucio. It means no speeding forward. Trades coming through will favour the defense at this point.
Yeah, some late kills there. Nice Fire Strike taking down the counterpart there. And late kill though onto Warden is going to be an opportunity here for the attack to break through. And in fact, they're really pushing up, Strange pushing up onto that payload almost by themselves. The defense not quite ready to surge forwards and take advantage of that. Now the attack coming in.
With 100% charge, why wouldn't you push forward as Zarya? Smashing, finishing off Thos. Botnik's elevated, uses the Deadeye to remove Glacier from the fight. The cart marching itself for 6 DPS are making use of the space being created by the tanks. They trap TC in the corner with the Blizzard. The cart pushes through unopposed. We're seeing MGSharks come from, they run straight into a grab. Brilliantly positioned by Strange. You lose Snow, but in the end the cart gets home. That was a great turnaround for Anomaly. They used their ultimates to perfection at the end.
Yeah, that was absolutely working out for them. They've pushed through. 3 minutes left on the clock is a great time in King's Row. Absolutely fantastic. So definitely makes sense as to why they'd want to come here. I mean, this is Scrim's Row, so you sort of expect MGSharks to be quite familiar with the map as well, but Anomaly played that so well, and they end up winning out there. There were definitely some opportunities missed by MGSharks. They had a few fights where they committed a little too much. There were some opportunities when maybe they could have pushed back and they didn't. In the end, Anomaly able to set a great time. We'll see if MGSharks can turn it around.
And I was enjoying watching what Smashy was doing on the main, not just getting the right freezes and icicles through people's respective domes, but just small use of that wall, not just to trap off members of MGSharks, but to cover the approach of Anomaly. And if you've got the wall up, the Reinhardt can drop the barrier, can charge forward, can push forward a little faster, get yourself into position. It telegraphs you a little bit because once the wall goes up, you kind of know where the attacker team is coming from, but it gets you in position a little faster and gives the defending team a little less time to prepare than they would if they just see a Reinhardt with his shield up coming at you.
Yeah, definitely. There's something to be said for it. I mean, it can definitely be punished, and having it on cooldown means you don't have the opportunity to split the defenders in half, but they're making good use of it, and more importantly, MGSharks aren't dealing with it in the way that they could. So we'll see if that continues as we move over to the MGSharks attack phase. They're looking to come straight onto this point, not circumnavigating it like their opponents did. There's the wall there, splitting the team. Not able to get the pin, though. So the fight sort of descends into a brawl here. Both teams still jockeying for position.
The floor is kind of lava on the point. Smash is opening up the defense's account, finishing off Primex. That will see the retreat signaled for MGSharks. In the end, Anomaly coming out on top in the first minute.
Absolutely, it's going to be a bit of time. It's going to be a lot of time off the clock by the time their main tank is back in, but they're going to come in, have another go for it. Have to worry about this splash damage, or rather this spam damage, because Warden actually ended up very low there, almost going down before the main tank was back, and there goes Glacier, another early pick here in favor of the defense.
Falls afoul of the Coalescer on the point. Al-Qaeda's swinging through Primex. Again, MGSharks sent packing, and Anomaly all over this point, eh? They were on their attack, and it looks like they are on their own defense.
Yeah, the ultimate's starting to come online. Primex is going to have a shatter, so could tip of the spear with that one, but Monix already has the Deadeye available. Strange very close to a grab as well. So a lot of defensive tools coming online, to say nothing of Snow's sound barrier. Both teams have that particular one available. See who's able to execute these ults. It's a great opening wall, but the
Shadow lays down 5. The Fire Strike follows up onto Snow. Primex is carrying this team on their back right now. The sound barrier making them so survivable. Blizzard invested on the point by smashing, but there's no one there to follow up. All you're going to do is have MGSharks there frozen and still capping the points.
This is why I keep banging on about the ult economies from this team. We're just seeing resources thrown willy-nilly into these team fights, and it makes a huge difference in the end. They've committed a lot of resources for a fight they couldn't win. Now they're trying to get back in there, maybe, but, I mean, the early kills, they've lost Botniks. It's just going to mean that they have to back up. It looks like they are going for the bookshop hold. But, oh, is that a Bastion coming out from spawn? Oh, that's going to be a nasty surprise.
Oh, an old-style pirate ship. You don't have the full sail provided by the shield of Orisa. But the really forward hole coming through from Anomaly. See if they can deal with the Bastion. I'm not sure they're expecting a Graviton Surge going to lock them up and allow Glacier to burn them all down. The sound barrier invested by Snow, as is the Coalescence from Tharavia. But it won't be enough. Botniks gets a kill onto the Bastion. When the rest of your team is down and the res is there, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself here. I think if you get grabbed in the line of sight of a Bastion, I think you don't bother with the sound barrier because it's not going to do enough against that sort of damage, and we see that come into effect here. I don't know if they're going to. It looks like they haven't made any swaps, so they're going to struggle to deal with this Bastion. They need to come up with something as an answer, and Primex is not giving them time to think about that.
I mean, screw the Bastion. You've got Primex up in your face, gets walled off, still able to take 2 members of your team down. If you can't answer the Reinhardt, how the hell are you going to answer the Bastion in the backline?
Absolutely, they need some way of breaking through this forward position here. MGSharks getting very aggressive with the hold, and Primex taking down Tharavia as well. wall is going to buy a little bit of time, but Shatter straight into a shield, and there goes Arcades. This is looking really good for the offense. They do not look like they are stopping here.
Oh, Botniks, what are you doing? You're alone. You're going to be facing shields. The Deadite used configuration tank in play from Clacy. And are normally just afraid to poke their hits. They know that whoever runs out first will cop a blast to the face. The Blizzard is a vessel on the point. A nice re-engage coming through for Anomaly. They waited, they grouped up, but Glacy's in the backline uncontested with a Mercy and a Sound Barrier melting down to a couple of kills traded back for Anomaly. The defenses come out really strong. They've killed everyone on the cart. Glacy going to have to back up, still plugging away with the damage, but there's not going to be enough follow-up to get the cart pushed home.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just need to hide behind the cart and let it be your defense against the Bastion. Once they'd managed to secure that ground, that was it. Glacy didn't have a way to turn the fight back because they were not allowing themselves to be caught out in the open. It's going to be really hard to get that Bastion set up again. It looks like they will be going for it.
Well, they're close to ult, so maybe you can build up that configuration tank, get the chopped up, but Strange hunting down Glacy will put paid to that. See if MGSharks wishes to back up. That they do.
Yeah, see if they're going to... It looks like maybe Glacy will be swapping off here. I think it's the right play if they do. I don't think you can make the Bastion work anymore, and they will be swapping over Hanzo. It was really looking like Smashy was not going to be leaving that away, and Strange got the opportunity to rush forwards as well. Junkrat also means they can just put a lot of spam damage into wherever the Bastion's set up without necessarily having to expose yourself to it. So they're starting to get the tools you need online to deal with that. Definitely needed to swap there.
What tools Sharks have? They have the Graviton Surge, so it forces out Snow Sand Barrier and the Coalescence. Kills traded on either team. Al-Qaeda's pushing forward, taking TC out of the fight. The Valkyrie online for Jemmy. The Resurrection threw onto Warden, but while that Resurrection happened, the rest of Sharks falling all around that Little Mercy. Anomaly holding on. They've put on a solid fight here, Peronius.
They really have. They've dug in hard, and MGSharks looks like they're struggling to get it happening here. This could very easily stall out the rest of King's Row. This final point can be such a pain to deal with, especially against an entrenched defense. The attackers again swapping things up means that they're resetting their ultimate charge. Jebby going over onto the Ana now. Here comes a tire in over the top, does manage to get the Lucio. So again, this gives me an opportunity for the defense to surge forwards and press the advantage. Botniks has taken down Warden as well, but it looks like they're content to let the others get away.
Primex's shield was broken almost immediately, even as the entire team was backing up, so not something you're going to want to re-engage with as Sharks. They have to force to wait, and still some great tools online for Anomaly.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get more aggressive here. They've got ultimate advantage. They're really starting to get control of the match. They can push this advantage a bit more than they have been.
Just content to let Sharks bang their heads repeatedly against the wall of their own defense. Graviton Surge and the Dragon Blade invested. Smashy swinging through, not quite able to get any kills. In the end, they lose Al-Qaeda's of all players there. So the Genji survives, the Reinhardt does not. They'll be back out in no time with the Earthshatter in tow. Primex building up towards their own has the nano boost. That is going to make it come so much faster if they can get anyone in range of that big glowing hammer. But Smashy and Botniks, they're not going anywhere near Primex as Al-Qaeda's comes out with the Earthshatter, finishes off the Rhine. The DPS of QUT Anomaly doing great work.
Yeah, that is surgical here from QUT Anomaly now. They're starting to get things happening the way I'd like to see it. They're not overcommitting these ultimates, and as a result, they're really coming out on top. The economy's overwhelmingly...
Oh, Primex loses the Earthshatter, booted up in the middle of the animation and killed. The Riptire comes around, finishes off TC. No one from MGSharks touching the cart. QUT Anomaly leveling us up here on King's Row.
Yeah, it looks really good there. QUT Anomaly, it took them a bit to get things back under control. Start on the map wasn't looking super well. The Bastion caught them a little bit by surprise, and a lot of progress was made off the back of that. But they come alive in the final stage of that map, and they put up a great showing. If they can play like that for the rest of the match, they are definitely going to be in a position to play spoiler here tonight.
Actually, just seeing that play of the game, not only is Primex amazing with the Earthshatter follow-up by the swinging, but the nano boost, not only to empower the Reinhardt, but a great bio grenade over the top coming from Jevi to make sure there's no healing available to the members of Anomaly that were lying down. So the Ana, the unsung hero of that play of the game and that hold at that point.
You know what? I'm going to go one further because the real unsung hero of that player game was the speed boosting Lucio that was giving the Reinhardt the speed to run through that team. Both the support players were with the Reinhardt for that. I remember seeing it the first time around, and they were committing. They as a team committed into making Primex be able to do that. So I think honestly, the speed boost on that Reinhardt to allow you to quickly run through everyone, even more impactful than the biotic grenade.
Well, there you go. And how's this for an interesting stat? Anomaly, between them, has played 12 separate heroes over the course of 2 matches. Glacy has played 10 separate heroes over the course of 2 maps.
Wow.
So, showing off that they are adept at everything under the sun. We've seen hit scan, we've seen projector, we saw that bash in the last map put to such great use. I'm curious to see whether that continues over the course of the match or they settle on a hero they may be feeling a bit more comfortable on for the duration of this match, especially after going down that one map. You know, now the kid gloves come off, you've got to get serious. You've got to make sure you're staying in touch. You don't want Anomaly to get away from you, especially when it is your playoff seeding on the line.
Absolutely, and it looks like there's going to be some substitutions coming in as a result. We're going to have Otaku Kasai coming in, as well as Mafia Monkey, as replacing Thost and Warden, respectively. So this could be the power-up MGSharks need to get this series back under their control. Still waiting to see what map they'll pick, though, as we get ready to head over to Assault.
Well, I did use Google Translate to see what Otaku Kasai translates to, and Google translates spell out geek. So I'm willing to think, okay, that, or if you do the words separately, it's like nerd fire. And I was wondering how to do that in a thing, but then thankfully Google Translate managed to put the two together and say just geek. Or nerd conflagration. Maybe they're a conflagration of nerds. Is that the collective noun for nerds? A conflagration of nerds?
I'm not actually familiar with that one, but I somehow doubt it. After all, can you imagine a bunch of nerds together in the same room?
That's a good point. Maybe a digital meetup on Zoom, but with all the cameras turned off. And I guess at that point, why are you using Zoom? Why not be in Discord? I mean, it's such a useful application. And you know, it's so useful that, you know, My Republic has recognized that it's a useful way to talk to gamers. It's a great way to provide support, something they're familiar with. So if you want an NBN service and you want a provider that, you know, caters to your needs, consider NBN Republic's gamer package.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is MGSharks thinking about it. Perhaps they're not really prepared for it. I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised. Maybe given that the fact that their matches have gone to so far in the tournament have gone to, you know, 4 or 5 maps. Their prior matches in the tournament have gone to 4 or 5 maps so often. Maybe they've played all 3 of the Assault maps and they haven't really got a favorite. They're not feeling comfortable on any of them. So it'll be interesting to see what they pick. It looks like they're edging towards Volskaya, has been the name called out in chat.
I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, week after week, I've said, you know what, we don't see Volskaya, and I like Volskaya, but then we saw Volskaya last week, and now we're having it again now. So I am absolutely pleased as punch. It's definitely my favorite of the 3 available maps.
And we'll see the teams swap sides yet again. MGSharks taking up position on the right-hand side again. QUT Anomaly back on the left.
Absolutely. Just getting underway in just a moment, and we'll see what these teams are able to throw out at us. Just hoping that they adjust the names.
That's all right. We can deal with the names not being there. We have an overlay for that very reason. And I mean, I'd like to talk about what happened in the match. The QT Anomaly, it looked like that when they were going those first few fights on their attack, they were throwing a lot of ultimates into it. Yes, they were getting the fight wins they needed, but then it was MGSharks coming back over the top because they had more ultimates in the next fight. But when they came to that final attack where they got the card home, it's like a switch got flipped in their heads. They played it to perfection. We saw the Blizzard go out on the left side of the cart, trap that Lucio in the room, and they just had that well-timed grab. They waited and waited for MGSharks to poke their heads out. Once they saw 3 of the defenders come out, they put the grab there and no one could touch. So fantastic play by them. And it's nice to see a team improve over the course of the match.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely saw them starting to conserve their ultimates a bit more. It stopped being a case of we're having a team fight and everyone presses Q. And that's what we need to see from these teams if they are going to level up to that next level, is some better ultimate management coming through, because it absolutely can make the difference. And we saw it there, because that is how Anomaly were able to hold out so successfully on that defense, was great ultimate management. It meant that MGSharks, they never got the economy in their favor. They were never able to wear down the defenders, and as a result, they were never able to make any progress in that final point.
Indeed, great improvement from Anomaly. I'm looking forward to seeing it continue for the rest of the match and finishing out their season on a win. Someone's got to represent. I'm right in thinking Swinburne Black, I believe, is in Division 5, and there might be the only 2 university, well, they're the only 2 noticeable university teams in Ascent right now. So it's good to see them representing uni students. Okay, you can go in, you study during the day, and at night you come out and click heads as a whatever player you are on the team. Of course, tank, support, DPS, anyone click ahead, but sometimes clicking ahead as a Reinhardt not as effective as smashing with those icicles. On the defense, no surprises from Anomaly, the standard comp, and a little bit different from MGSharks.
Yeah, I mean, MGSharks, they've had a couple of substitutions, but they're coming out with a Junkrat Genji. Definitely not your average composition there. Botnick's, however, punishing Glacy early on in this fight, but Alcades has gone down as well. Botnick's picks up a second, so this fight could still go either way. The lack of main tank on the defense is a big opportunity here, but they are...
Yeah,
they do have damage superiority and they're pressuring it. Oh, Botnick's picks up another, and maybe this is correct now.
Anomaly being very selective with their targets, first eliminating the DPS, then eliminating the supports, and then eliminating the tanks. Really, the 2-2-2 system coming into full effect right there.
Absolutely, and great performances there from Botniks. I mean, I was a little worried when Alcades went down early, but some great play from the rest of the team allows them to hold on to that point. And not only that, when MGSharks, they stall their attack, they seem to be a little unsure whether they commit or not. They end up caught out, and we see some aggression coming through Anomaly to punish that as well. So I really like what I'm seeing now from them.
TC, what are you doing running straight into the Biotic Orb? And I'm interested to see that Otaku's come in and now playing the Reinhardt Primex on the Sigma. So it suggests that Primex is a really flexible tank player. We saw how great they were on the Reinhardt, but now on the Sigma, Otaku, and if Otaku's an even better Reinhardt, I'd be really worried if Alcades have been exactly having a fun time playing against the tanks of MGSharks. Glacy now onto the Ashe on the high ground, throws the Dynamite down, forced to back off in the face of the Coalescence and the Deadeye. Now MGSharks going to make the re-engagement. They have the ultimates in their sights. Earthshadow away from Otaku, lays down 4 members of Anomaly. A charge against the wall, going to clean up the entire support line. Oh, Mafia Monkey cleaning up Alcades off the back of the Earthshadow coming down from that Reinhardt. So the new entrance for Sharks making all the difference right now. Primex's Grenetic Flux finishing off the final 2 members. MGSharks taking the points.
Yeah, and I think, again, maybe a bit of an overcommitment from MGSharks. I mean, Primex was able to use that to clean up the tail end of the fight quickly, but I think that fight was won anyways, and you might be better off taking that Grenetic Flux into B, trying to look to snowball here, because unless you can get that early momentum, get that snowball win onto that second point, it can be so hard to catch it in this game mode. So again, maybe doing the damage there, but they do have Mafia Monkey's tire. A great tire could absolutely open up this point for the team.
Have to be wary of that sand barrier coming through from Snow. The tire is out. No, the wall is no impediment to them. Ryan Snow in the middle of the sound barrier. It's denied. The Graviton Surge invested on the point as an emergency measure, but there's no follow-up. The Coalescence from the side not really going to be doing anything other than keeping Thyravia alive for the moment. Lacey on the high ground with the Bob out on the point. There's so much damage for the attacking team. The snowball is in effect. The percentage built up. Oh no! Alcides didn't touch the point, but would have been burnt down anyway. What a completion for Sharks.
Yeah, that is absolutely what they needed there. Great work with the tire, catching the Lucio mid-sound barrier. Even if you get nothing else, that is still absolutely huge, and they make that all they need. The Grav did come out in response, caught a lot of people in there, but no one was really able to follow up on that one, and I'm not sure why, because they should have had enough people there to try and put some damage into that. In the end, it's not capitalized on, and as a result, we do see MGSharks surge through, pick up that one with 3.5 minutes in the time bank, so a really great position to be in an assault map.
Well, that's the perfect way to bounce back as the Sharks after that loss on Kings Row, and you got to feel bad for Snow. Had the sound barrier, that was the key defensive tool they needed to sustain on the point, and got killed in the middle of casting it. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and just swapped off. I mean, I'm sorry, they're sticking on the Ana in the attacker spawn. We'll comment on that when they run out. Oh, just gotta hurt. MGSharks sitting pretty right now, as you said. A whole lot of money in the money bank, or time in the time bank, I suppose is the more appropriate phrasing. But these changes so far have looked really good for them.
Yeah, this has definitely brought them up to the next level. And now Mafia Monkey again going to be on this Junkrat. Going to make these initial points here really spammy and hard to get through. It's going to do a lot of shield break early on. That said, Botnik's in the sky. Glacier is going to be the main threat there, but it's really hard to take a 1v2 against a Pharmacy, especially when it's actually a 1v3, because there goes Smashy.
Yeah, picking up Glacier on the high ground. Nice play by the Echo. Otaku low. Botnik's raining rocket him from the other side. A crossfire set up by Anomaly effectively deals with that point A defense. They are going to take that lickety split.
Yeah, really great coordination from this aerial attack force, or the Sky Comp as we have referred to it. But they just work so well in tandem. One person pulled aggro, the other person flanked behind, put in the damage, and then they just swapped as enemy target focusing swapped. And it just worked really, really well. We'll see if they can continue that. The second point does have a very high ceiling, but the angles are really awkward. There's a lot of place for the defenders to hide. And it looks like they're getting aggressive to try and disrupt this Pharmacy early on.
And they're going to have to, and they've actually got a moment, do Sharks, where, yes, they've swapped and got no ultimates, but Anomaly don't have any ultimates of themselves with which to snowball. They are going to build them up in a nick quite quickly. So Sharks, they've got an opportunity.
There it is.
They run into the barrage. Botnik's 2 gets killed by the moving platform. You finished off Mafia Monkey, yeah, but now Primex going to wade in there with the hammer, taking down Smashy as the duplicated Reinhardt, as well as Snow. And Anomaly, they had the tools, they had the positioning, but in the end, they're going to have to get out. And I'm not sure if all these players can get out unopposed. No, they're going to take a dive off the side.
Hoisted by their own petard, taken out by the floating platform. That was what stopped their push, and it was looking so good right up until that happened as well. And that's going to see some composition swaps coming through. Botniks is going to move away from the Farah back onto the McCree. They did some great work on that. Smash is going to go over to the Ash as well, and Thyravia over onto the Lucio. So bit of a swap here. Chance for the defenders to dig themselves in. We'll see how it works out. It's going to be hit scan v hit scan over the second point of Volskaya.
Anomaly uses the elevator to take position on the high ground. See the Diva of Otaku on the opposing high ground. The tanks have swapped over again for MGSharks. Primex back on the Reinhardt. The Earthshatter invested by Alcides lays down a few members, but no follow-up available. It does have the nano boost going to come in, removing Primex from the fight. A big position on the point. Rabbinic Flux coming through from Strange. Not going to capture anyone. The self-destruct over the top from Otaku. Not getting anyone. The Dynamite going to prevent the Diva from remaking. Trades going either way. Sharks look like they're reasserting their dominance on the point with a giant glowing Reinhardt charging across it. TC has been showing with the kill feed quite a lot, finishing with 2 kills in that fight, perhaps showing that why they were the supreme Lucio Ball specialists.
Yeah, definitely. And anytime the fight sort of drags on there, it is going to favour the defense who have such a close spawn. But already the time bank now in favour of this roster here from MGSharks. So QT Anomaly, they need to get this one going, but they used a lot of resources in that last fight. Arabia's actually gone over to the brig now as well.
TC removed from the fight straight away, Smashy finding the kill. The Deadeye just going to force everyone back. Botnik's not going to get any kills, so they're really using it to reload with a little bit of zoning built in. Both teams slowly touching their way onto the point. Glacier coming over the back with attack, fires a great flanking play, picks up Snow, hunted down by the Diva of Strange, but the damage is done. Otaku and Primex cleaning up the kills. MGSharks all over this point as 3 minutes already burnt off the clock per Ernest, but still 3 minutes left for Anomaly. That's how fast their point A attack was.
Yeah, it was really quick, but I mean, Assault being Assault, it's all about that second point. Botnik's now going to be swapping over to the Reaper, not feeling the McCree. And they have to worry about Mafia Monkey on the main now as well, who's very close to that Blizzard. Tharabia going back to the Lucio.
So I was enjoying watching Otaku brilliantly lining up that Zarya jump to get on the high ground. Just waiting for that right click to come back down, eventually forced down, but hey, you've proven a little bit of a nuisance. Nice Dynamite coming in, putting Primex under a little bit of pressure. Bob invested on the field, as is the Blizzard coming out from Mafia Monkey. It's covering the whole point. Al-Qaidi's frozen, as is Thyravia, not quite able to escape. Lucio eventually gets away with the life, as does Al-Qaidi, still alive on the point, eventually cut down, but Primex, a great bio grenade coming through from Snow. We'll see that Reinhardt taken out of the fight, but in the end, the trades again favouring the defense. They hold firm, a minute 40 on the clock.
Yeah, I was going to give some props to MGSharks for their ultimate economy because they weren't overcommitting to these fights, but when I look at their actual ultimates, it seems like they are sort of using everything that they've got online, winning the fights with those, and then the next lot of ultimates are coming online. It's only going to be this next fight that they actually have a lot of ultimates available for the fight. So they managed to have a nice defensive rotation, even if it was half coincidental because they didn't have the ultimates online in the fights. Now the true test is going to be upon them. Can they manage to not overcommit on this defense?
What an Earth Shatter laid down by Arcades, immediately blocked off by a Graviton Surge coming through from Otaku. That's a nice counterplay. Primex uses that to his advantage, swings through, takes down multiple members of the attacker team, and with only 50 seconds left on the clock, there might only be one more attack available for Anomaly.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. One more push. They're going to have a Diva Bomb for it. They're probably going to have a Death Blossom as well. We could be seeing the dreaded Beyblade coming out. And Primex with the Shatter, the only defensive ultimate, although we can expect Jevi gets the Coalescence online. It charges that quickly. Glacier actually going to go over to the Doomfist for this final fight. Ooh, that's a great Shatter.
Mafia Monkey removed from the fight almost immediately, but it's immediately countered by 3 kills. Self-destruct over the top takes Primex down. Strange gets back into the mech, but the numbers are always going to favour the defense in this scenario, particularly when their reinforcements are coming out so fast. Sound barrier on the point. Tharavia, it's just a solo Lucio sound barrier to trigger overtime. Eventually removed from the fight. Glacy hunting down. The Blizzard available. Smashy brings it out. Only captures half the point, but there's no one else there to follow it up. Besides Reaper, besides Botnik, the Death Blossom unveils, plugged into a wall. Glacy going absolutely ham. Al-Qaidi's finishing off the Doomfist, but then immediately rejected from the point. Gets a charging. I think just got charged into a friendly ice block, did Primex, but with Otaku melting everyone down, that will be enough for MGSharks to take out Volsky and put themselves on match points.
Yeah, great comeback there from MGSharks. QT Anomaly, they capped that first point with so much time to spare, but in the end, they weren't able to get it going, weren't able to keep things alive. As a result, MGSharks pick up the map win, they get themselves to match point, and now all of the pressure here will be heading over to Escort for our next map. Potentially our final map, but QUT Anomaly, they played well on King's Row, and again, I like to liken a performance in the hybrid to maybe a comeback in Escort, even though it's never actually come out that way in the couple of times I've set that up. Maybe QUT Anomaly finally justifies me taking this position.
And look, their best part of King's Row was their point C defense, and the end of King's Row very similar to the end of Rialto.
It's true.
In that there's that final corner final corner or two you've got to come around. It's very defensive favored. So if they're able to get the cart the whole way on their own attack, they're well positioned to hold out the map and send us to that map 5 that I so desperately want to see tonight. They're coming into the map again. One team picks a side, the other team is going to pick their attack and defense. And again, the team's swapping over. Seeing MGSharks back on the left side of your screen. QUT Anomaly back on the right-hand side. I don't think any substitution is going to be come through for MGSharks. Pyronius, it seems that their new players they brought in have really made the difference for them.
Yeah, definitely. They were looking really strong there. And Rialto, I mean, this is, again, it's going to all come down to ultimate economy in the end, especially on these payload maps. It's so easy to accidentally give up half a map just because you've overcommitted into a fight. The Assault, it's almost easier in Assault because you've got those points there. You've got, okay, this is our objective and then that is our objective, whereas it's so easy to give up a whole bunch of ground in payload just because you misplay one defense, and then they get the momentum and they're able to stagger it through, catch you off guard, take advantage of your weak economy, and pick up 2-3 fights off the back of it, capture a point and a half, just out of like one bad defense. So Escort can be absolutely punishing if you misplay a defense, and that's what it's really all going to come down to. And
this first point on Rialto is always an interesting defense. It depends on where you want to set up. Sometimes you see the full hold at the spawn gates. Sometimes you allow the team to get into that final courtyard and the cart around that big area. Both have their pros, both have their cons. I would like to see something aggressive coming out of the defending team to start here. So MGSharks going to be starting out, and they've got the players with which to have that kind of aggressive hold. You see Warden brought back in, Mafia Monkey subbed out. So likely not going to see that Junkrat again. Warden was on the McCree for a lot of the first two maps, so I expect to see that combined with the absolute flexibility that comes out from Glacy. So I'm just trying to think. I don't think we've seen Glacy on Echo, which...
Yeah, it's interesting. Someone playing that many different heroes and not playing Echo.
It's like they just want a permanent Echo ultimate available to them. It's like, why bother playing Echo? I can just play the hero. I mean, you're not relying on the other team to pull out something. You think, oh, you know what, I would Riptide. Well, the other team's not running Junkrat, so how do I get a Riptide? I'll just play Junkrat myself.
Makes sense. Meanwhile, Smashy and Botniks will be playing, at least by the look of it, what we've been seeing them on so far. Smashy reprising that Echo, and Botniks is going to continue to put up performances on that McCree, we can hope. They've been putting out such a great performance so far. And meanwhile, it looks like Strange again onto the Diva, really favouring that as the off-tank there. Primex playing the Sigma should mean that you got a lot more shield potential from this defense here. See if Strange is able to make good use of the Diva to make up the difference there.
I feel like Tharabia's played a lot of Moira because there's some great biotic orbs, like either bouncing off surfaces I wouldn't expect them to, or nailing gaps and building up a lot of ult charge, already up to 35%, though they lose Smashy almost immediately. Warden doing a great job hunting down the Echo. They've been brought back in, they've ready and refreshed. Maybe they've been in the training area in between the maps when they were out.
Absolutely.
So far, Sharks holding on.
Yeah, Sharks holding on to this defensive position. Anomaly looking for the opening. Smashy is back now. They're looking for their opening there. Strange has actually swapped over to the Zarya, so this is something I've seen a lot. Strange is coming out on the Diva and then very quickly swapping to another off-tank as they realize the Diva's not working. And I feel like it's happened so many times, it just I know you like the Diva, but maybe don't play the Diva initially.
Oh, what is working is the Coalescence allowing Anomaly to push forward. They get a couple of kills, but they push forward into an Earth Shatter. So it might not be quite enough for the defending team to hold on. The Deadeye for Botniks kills 2 straight out. Also picked up another 2 in the fight. This McCree doing a fantastic job.
Botniks has by and far been the standout player here from Anomaly, in my opinion. They've been putting up really consistent performances. I really like what I've been seeing from them. Now we have the defense coming across. Even then, Botniks still picking up laces again. That's going to allow them to again surge forwards, try and get this payload across the line. The defense crumbles before it.
I'm pretty sure that was 6 kills in a row for Botniks. It's still going. Snow, you've just interrupted the kill streak, damn you.
I like this aggression coming out from Anomaly as well. They backed off before on King's Row. They didn't take it as far as they could have. And as I say that, they turn around and they're taking it back. But I suppose the defenders were starting to come online there. So it wasn't sort of a case where they were backing off from a numerical, inferiority that was threatening them. They actually probably did need to back off there. It was just poor timing on my part to start talking about the aggression as they turn around. Nonetheless, they bought a lot of early space there, and now we're going to see them surge forward once again. That shield from Arcades is really shot up though.
Nice gravitic flux coming through from Primex. Lifts up 3, the sound barrier to counter. The classic counter works. Botniks finishing up on Tucker, but now Glacy has the nano boost in tow with the Dragon Blade. Finishes off Botniks as the biggest threat gone, but it's the only threat gone from the fight. Smashy on the Sigma has the gravitic flux. Smashy on the duplicate, the Sigma has the gravitic flux. Picks up Chevy, not going to finish the kill off as the duplicate wears off, but in the end, they don't need to finish them off with the ultimate. The rest of the team is there cleaning up. Is Carp going to push through point B?
Absolutely, and nice plays from Smashy there. Going onto the Sigma and actually landed an accretion on the ulting Genji, which took a lot of time out of that Dragon Blade. They could have otherwise been spent cutting through the back line. So great play there from Smashy. As a result, they're keeping the momentum going. 4.5 minutes on the clock. They've still got ultimates in the bank as well. Both big tank ultimates online. Could easily win 2 fights off those if they use them well. There's the Shatter in. And that is it. That's a fight one off the Shadow. I like what I'm seeing because Strange is now going to have a grab coming in to this final stretch. This is what I wanted to see from them. They're using their ultimates wisely and it's absolutely paying off here.
And Strange still has the grab. Thyravia has the Coalescence ready. Wrecking Ball out now for Primex as Ataka goes down in the middle of the Earthshatter. That's another Earthshatter gone for tonight. The Deadeye's on the field from Botniks. The Graviton Surge from Strange. The Graviton Surge from Strange. Yep, going to capture one. In the end, Anomaly pushing home with a monster over time. 3:43.
Absolutely. Great work there from Anomaly. This is what I've been wanting to see from them. This is fantastic. We're seeing them win the fights with the minimum number of ultimates needed to do it. And then they're coming into the next fight with an overwhelming advantage there. You get to that final fight, you can just drop everything on there, knowing the defenders do not have anything to match it. And you get it through, set a great time. This is what we needed from them. This is fantastic. We'll see if they can keep this up because now it's going to be MGSharks' turn to try and put the hurt onto them.
You may be getting your wish, Pyronius. Past performance being an indicator of future performance. On King's Row, they completed 3 minutes 3 in the time bank. Very similar situations in which they now find themselves in. And if they can hold MGSharks, 2 2/3 points in, we'll have an absolute proof that sometimes it can happen. But that was carried off the back of Botniks. You called out how great they've been. You saw that 6 kills in a row to finish off point A, and even beyond then, they didn't show up as much in the kill feed, but they were pumping out so much damage. MGSharks just did not have an answer for this McCree.
You wanted an aggressive hold coming out from a defense, and this is exactly what it looks like you're getting. I'm wondering if they've got some coaching staff listening to the stream and stealing plays from us or something, because I'm really liking the adaptations coming out from Anomaly here.
I don't recommend stealing my coaching ideas, but Botniks opening up the account, picking off TC. Surprise is with the defending team for the moment. Bargrenade just a little bit, but MGSharks, they've got time to play with, and if they come out in a Caserta push, they could get out cleanly.
Oh yeah, the problem with this, once you're in there, is you are very vulnerable, and that's a great biotic grenade coming through as well. I almost feel like you get that early fight win, you get the ultimate percentage, and then you back off a bit, because this is not an ideal defensive position. That said, it's taking MGSharks such a long time to commit to this. They're getting so much time out of this.
It's
This is fantastic.
It's a really good rotation from Anomaly. They know MGSharks is on the high ground. They're just hiding essentially in the spawn room. As now Sharks take position on the point, they're going to force Anomaly to come to them. A great friendly biotic grenade coming out from Jebby, providing so much healing for Sharks. As Glacy goes very low, the Ash finally eliminated from the fight. But you trade out for Botnix. There's a boot by the way. Snow cops the worst off that. Primex has the Earth Shatter built up, lays down enough members to finally make a difference. A charge through Tharavia gets squashed against the car, and now it's just smashing left. Not long for this world. Good night to that defense, but they burned off a significant amount of time.
Oh, it's a minute and a half off the clock, and the best part is they should be able to get back to go for the early courtyard hold. That said, we see Primex getting super aggressively trying to push up here. There is an opportunity. Maybe the defenders aren't able to get back in there, but if they win another fight here, it'll be as if... Yeah, the
Primex goes low, gets the nano boost to keep them alive, swinging away, trying to build up to that Earth Shatter, 93%, and climbing the Blizzard in play from Smash. It will keep Primex frozen. The Earth Shatter instead coming through from Al-Qaeda's, followed up with a Deadeye from Botnix to finish off the entire tank line for the attack. That attack thwarted. Anomaly reasserting card control.
Yeah, and this is a great position to be in if you're Anomaly, because this payload, by the time the attackers have grouped up, it's practically going to be sitting there at the start of the courtyard, which is the defensive position most people are anyway. So they've effectively got more than 2 minutes off the clock here for what is, normally most people's first fight position. We are going to see a bit of an interesting rotation through coming down from the high ground from MGSharks.
Could they get the grab on the high ground? No, not going to use it there. Strange holding on to it, waiting for a better opportunity to use it. Primex looking for an opportunity to use the Earth Shatter. They've got Strange isolated, swinging through as a bomb on the field, but Strange down, holding onto the Graviton Surge. There, it's Primex's Earth Shatter, lays down everyone in the room. The hammer finishing off the kills. MGSharks pushing through point A.
Yeah, they'll get that one going now. There's no chance for the defenders to get that one there. And look at this. Look at how aggressive the Otaku is being on this Zarya. Oh, and they're going to get punished for it. Oh! Barely manages to make it away from that one in time. Nope, never mind. They took a swim. Okay.
No, Otaku taking a dive. But I guess the silver lining there for Strange is that you held on to your grab because you couldn't use it. Tharavia getting the kill onto Glacy to put Anomaly in a good position to defend the cart here. They're willing to take the fight down there. Arcadi's just sitting on the high ground for the moment, eventually jumps down. As MGSharks sitting on the bridge waiting for the right opportunity to move forward, stake their claim back on the cart. QT Anomaly sitting in the corner, counter grabs out from both sides. Nice. Reinhardt shields will be the protection, but the Blizzard in the end might come up, trumps it, freezes so many people. Botnix picking up 2 kills. Arcades stepping forward with the hammer to clean up. And that was a nice fight win for Anomaly.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you consider the amount of ultimates that MGSharks invested into that one. They used both the Deadeye and the Grav, and they end up coming up short in that one, whereas Anomaly, they only really used the Grav, well, they used the Grav and the Blizzard there. They definitely needed the Blizzard to make it happen. Now they got the Deadeye over the top as well. With Glacy swapping hero, oh,
What?
that's huge!
The tanks? Botnix, you can't be doing this!
So what happened there is that is entirely on the members of MGSharks. They had too many people behind those shields. Because that shield, it can stand up to a Deadeye as long as it's just the Reinhardt, maybe 1 or 2 people in there. If you have 6 people behind the shield, you absolutely fire because that shield is not going to hold up against all that damage. And as a result, the tanks are the ones to fall as the Deadeye breaks through the shield and picks up some other people.
Anomaly open up with a rally. Al-Qaeda jumps down, drops the Earth Shadow. Botnix makes use of that. Everyone's lying down. You just fish in a barrel for this McCree. Anomaly, where has this come from? They are absolutely stellar on these escort type game modes.
Yeah, they are looking so damn good here. It's actually incredible. And a minute 10 left on the clock. The payload has barely made any progress through Part B. They've moved back onto the high ground. They're definitely looking really comfortable on Rialto. They know the map geometry they want. They're picking the fights they want. Looks like the ult economy is in favor of MGSharks here. We'll see if they can make use of it, though, because, well, Anomaly have been looking so good. They got the sound barrier available as well. There's the Shatter in.
Nice play coming through from Primex. They had Smashy isolated. The rest of the defending team had to move up to support their main. The sound barrier from TK, along with every other ultimate they have, will be invested for Smashy. Got away with the life. Now has the Blizzard to throw out. That will clean up the cut. 30 seconds left on the clock. Pyronius, things are looking dire for the Sharks.
Things are definitely not going to plan for them. But, well, they've got one last crack at this one. They're going to have the Deadeye during it. They're likely going to have the Death Blossom. They should be able to get that grab. They've got some tools. They have to worry about Stranger's grab, though. A good grab from Strange here early. This could be exactly what they needed. Can anyone even get on there? The Lucio does get the touch.
Yeah, the grab caught the tank line, Smashy finishing off Warden. The McCree's gone, the Hellfire shotguns are Glazy plugging away so close to that. Death Blossom has it built up. Will they get an opportunity to use it? They're going to teleport onto the high ground, coming over the top. The Graviton Surge invested to keep them locked up. That would be what they need. MGSharks finally getting the cleanup, but the cart is pushing forward in overtime. They cannot leave the cart.
They cannot leave the cart. There's going to be one last defensive fight here. One more opportunity, but Primex has the Shatter. A Shatter Deadeye could absolutely get this second point, buy them some extra time moving on to third. It's still not a great position to be in, and it looks like the defense doesn't even get there in time. Shatter's still committed.
Yeah, hopefully not too much going to be invested by an Anomaly in that fight. No, they get cleaned up, but there's still a little more progress available for Sharks that maybe the defense didn't want to give up so easily.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely wanted another fight there, but on the plus side, you did get the Shatter out of Primex. That's a freebie as far as you're concerned. You didn't get to the payload on time, and then they invested ultimates. It's free real estate at that point, so absolutely, you've got to be happy with that regardless. 60 seconds left on the clock. Ultimates starting to come back online for the defense. They've got the Blizzard. This could absolutely end it here.
Pressure's on for MGSharks. Can they survive the Blizzard? It goes out. No one's there to deny it. Botnik's finishing off Jevy to start the account. Arcades hunting down Warden. That will be MGSharks repulsed for the time being. One last attack left in their tank.
Yeah, one last attack left. The defense about to get a lot of ultimates online. Meanwhile, they're still a bit lagging behind. They're going to have the Deadeye. They've got the sound barrier. They have the potential of getting all of their ultimates online in this fight, so it really depends on how the opening moves of this fight are played, because Strange has just got the grab online. Shatter is not too far behind it as well.
Oh, the Deadeye on the field. Botnik's proved so deadly so far. There's no shield available. Lays down to the Earth Shatter, following up from Arcades, as well as the sound barrier and the rally. Anomaly has all the tools they need to survive. Survive their will. They are forcing us to a map 5, Pyronius.
It's incredible. I can't believe we're going to a map 5 in a game that ultimately has minimal impact on playoffs. Like, it should be noted here, QUT Anomaly, they're playing out of their minds. They can't make playoffs. They are doing this for pride and pride alone, and what a performance they are putting up despite that. Incredible showing here. Most teams, if they don't have anything to gain from the match, it's often hard for them to get going, but sometimes the pressure that they've got nothing to lose is everything that they need to really kick it up a gear.
Or maybe they've picked that team icon of a black hole for good reason. They want to suck all of MGSharks' confidence away from them, deny that to them, and say, you know what, we can't make it, but we can at least take something off you, get a small victory of our own out of it, bolster our own sense of well-being coming into whatever tournaments we go forward into. And they're putting on such a great show. However, the pressure will be on. MGSharks took out Nepal. It was a good start from Anomaly. They took out the first round, but then they didn't really have any answer for the second 2 rounds. So we'll see how Control treats them. As MGSharks, they've chosen Ilios.
Yeah. Trying to think. They had the choice of Ilios and Basan. They're going towards Ilios, and I'm trying to think. what gives them the edge on it. Why Ilias over Basan? Because QT Anomaly, they've been the ones that have been playing the Sky comps, and Ilias definitely has more maps to enable those sort of Sky compositions. So is it to bait those out thinking that you can beat them because it's been sort of 50-50 on how well they've handled against those? Am I just overthinking it? Is it the fact that Ilias has been in the game longer and they're just more practiced on it? I don't know.
Or maybe they just want to take advantage of that sweet, sweet well in the middle of well.
It's true. That's true. We have seen a lot of Enviro kills from these Lucios from both teams, actually. So
and that would be right up TC's alley. Lucio Ball Champ has pretty much played nothing but Lucio this entire match. I take that back. Has played a bit of has only played Lucio this match. So why not take it to a match, particularly and Lighthouse. Both really good boopy maps. And so the edge is right there on the point. Ruins not so much. They're hoping we don't get there. But even if they do, they've still got 2 maps to bring it back.
Absolutely. We'll have Thost coming back in for Otaku. So another shuffling of the MGSharks roster.
Well, this is the original roster they started with that did win out in a poll. I'm just looking at the results. It's gone back and forth based on map picks. So I feel MGSharks have a little bit of an advantage just based on the limited starter set we have. Having on map pick has proven the deciding factor so far. So
it's their map pick. They won the previous control. They are the highest seed. They've got every reason to pick this one up. And that is exactly why Anomaly will do it, just to spite us.
Well, it'll be an interesting way to see how this map plays out. And again, MGSharks have continued their trend of having no zeros on either side of the scoreboard. They're going to finish this season, regardless of which way this map goes, win or loss, with 3 matches that go to 3-2. I think that's actually been pretty consistent across this division. I'm pretty sure No Ducks, given the top team, has also had 3, I'll say 2, at least 2 matches that went to 3-2. So this division feels very, very even.
Yeah, and I mean, some say like No Ducks given, maybe they're just really good at control as well. You win your first control, you win your last control. You just have to pick up one in the middle. If there's teams out there like that. Looks like we're having another substitution as well. Mafia coming in for Warden. So we're moving away from the roster that won us Nepal.
Only a slight change.
Yeah.
And Mafia, they got pulled out on Volskaya, which is the other map that they won. And again, a very similar style to Control. It's a single point on the map. You've just got to play around that one single area. We saw Mafia come out for a lot on the Junkrat. So again, another character that can move you around. Those concussion mines could put you in the well, could put you off the edge of the map. Maybe there's another little trick they've got up their sleeves that we haven't seen yet that'll be a surprise to us and to Anomaly.
Yeah, Junkrat's a weird choice for Ilias. So I'm wondering if there's another hero that they play here that's going to come out, or maybe they just have a really good Junkrat for Ilias, but it's not a hero you associate with the map, definitely.
Anyway, we are starting out on Lighthouse. So no deep dark well for us to salivate over, thinking of all those environmental kills he might get. But it is a nice. Honestly, it's a bit cold here at the moment, so I'm glad to see a nice sunny climate bringing about. Just reminds me of summer, and also the fact that Greece is like offering cheap or free holidays to people of Greek descent. I can't take advantage of that. I'm just thinking about it, wishing I was for the moment, because you see those pictures. They're in summer right now. Greece is just sunny beaches, sand. Winter is so long. We're only at the start. Anyway, into the match. Teams are coming out. Reinhardt across the board, but we're seeing differences in the off-tank role at the moment. We'll see if Strange sticks on the Zarya.
Well, it's interesting that finally Strange is coming out straight away on a thing that's not D.Va, and they're actually running into a D.Va on the enemy team. Probably wouldn't have forced them to swap off, but Mafia Monkey getting the first kill on the Smashy there. is a great opening. Botnick's looking to trade back though, gets the D-Mech. Not over yet.
Oh, Botnick's taking TT and Glacy out of the fight. You lose Snow. But Botnick's does not need a Lucio. You can just stand there, blink away the flashbang. Yep. In the end, Anomaly taking the point off the back of a fantastic play by Botnick's.
Yeah, 71% ultimate charge from that first fight. Smashy's only at 20%, so it really does show the difference. Admittedly, Smashy died first in the fight, so fair enough. But it really does show how much Botnick's is getting done. And Glacy's gone over to the Sombra, probably in answer to the Doomfist.
Her Shadow from Primex goes out, immediately being removed from the fight, so no value coming through for Sharks off the back of that ultimate. TC gets Botnick's, and that is the crucial pick if you are the MGSharks. That McCree no longer a force to be reckoned with. However, Smashies is still there, slapping Mafia Monkey against the wall. Anomaly holding on.
Yeah, and Smashy getting the pursuit kill. That's another pickup onto the Baby Diva as well. So, opportunity here to push forwards further, but looks like they're not going to go for it. Would have been an opportunity to take a 4v6 and keep racking up some more percentage there in a nice easy fight, but they're going to give Sharks a chance to regroup here. Now Sharks going to be coming up through the main street. We'll see how they open up this one. They are playing into the negative in economy because the members here of Anomaly, they haven't had to commit any ults yet.
No, they've got two big tank ultimates in play, waiting to see where to use them. The Graviton Surge, the first use, Al-Qaeda swinging through, but the support line is going to be there, but it's not enough. Botnick's chewing through 3 with the Deadeye, finishing up with a 4th kill onto TC. And another dominant fight win for Anomaly.
Yeah, they are looking so good. They got 4 ultimates in the bank still. Meanwhile, MGSharks struggling to get it started. Frostwound only 20% towards the Zarya grab. They're going to have to come into this with just the Blizzard and the Sound Barrier. And this is going to be the final fight, so we're really seeing the difference in these two teams in the ult in front of me.
Smashy gets hacked, not going to be using that Meteor Strike just yet. The Blizzard in play in front of the point. It splits up a lot of Anomaly, who runs straight into the EMP of Glacy, the Sound Barrier, there to support MGSharks, but they got players down. Anomaly not losing a single person in that fight. They're going to clean up this point 99-0. TC doing what they can. In the end, it's not enough.
Yeah, great performance there from Anomaly. Absolutely dominant here on Lighthouse. Really liking what we're seeing. MGSharks, it seems to be the same old problem. They're just throwing out ultimates a little too willy-nilly, and it's putting them into a bad spot when we get into the later ends of the rounds, and they find themselves staring down the barrel of 4 ultimates against with only like 2, maybe 3 in their own tank. And that just, you can't let that happen. If you're needing to take the point, you need to take the fights and spend less ultimates and wear down your opponent's economy so you can flip it. If you put yourselves into the deficit, you're never going to get that flip. They've got defensive advantage.
And we're finally seeing the Botnick's Widowmaker making it onto the field. The walking highlight reel himself is in place. Smashy switching across onto the Mei, even with the friendly walls not willing to stick with the Doomfist. Shots going down the way of MGSharks currently, just hiding from this Widow.
Absolutely, and understandably so. You have to respect it. Still, they're not giving up the angles. A lot of early aggression coming out. They're moving together as a team, and that off angle is going to be so awkward. Glacy, the first casualty there.
Botnick's on fire, picks up 2 as the rest of MGSharks forced into that little room, trying to avoid both the hammer of Al-Qaeda's and that sniper rifle of Botnick's. But they just walk straight into the path of Strange. Picks up a couple of kills. Anomaly taking the point. They're looking unstoppable, Pyronius.
They really are, and I really have to give that one out to the tank line who maneuvered the fight. They forced the enemy to turn so that the Widowmaker is now in the flank. They gave Botnick's the space to make that happen. Incredible performance there. Great team coordination coming through. They set that one up and executed it perfectly.
Botnick's wrapping around the side, has to dodge out of the sights of Glacy. Smashy finds Primex, and that's the Reinhardt gone. Mafia Monkey gets the counter onto Snow, but the entire tank line for MGSharks waiting to respawn is going to make it very difficult for them to approach the point.
Yeah, you can't really step out into the open and without a tank to hide behind. Potnix is going to make you disappear, send you back to spawn yourself. So a lot of pressure on the members of Sharks here. They need to get back on here, but again, this is such a good Widowmaker map, and Botnix has been so good on the hit scan tonight.
Picks up
back.
Jimmy. That's absolutely brutal. Removes Glacy. Al-Qaeda's in the front line, swinging away the Fire Strike to remove Primex. Is there nothing this team can't do? I mean, I would not have expected this coming into this match coming out of Anomaly.
No, this is so good. And now, Glacy's finally gone over to the Widow to try and duel with Botnix, but I mean, I don't know if you've got the chops, Glacy. Botnix is pretty ridiculous on this hit scan roll. Flex player against the hit scan specialist shooting this well is not.
Oh, the Shadow, the Blizzard, the Coalescence is all there for Anomaly. They're cleaning 90%. Up 90%. There's nothing MGSharks can do. Primex lays down Earthshatter, but again, this might be a deathless round for Anomaly. 99%, 100%. Anomaly taking the map, taking the match, taking something out of this season.
Absolutely. What a great performance. I think it's their first win of the season. Is that correct?
I believe, yes, it is their first win of the season, and what a way to seal the deal. Botnix with the play of the game, and I mean, there were so many players across this entire match you could have as a Botnix player of the game. That one, it's only a 3k Deadeye. I mean, pretty average for Botnix.
Such incredible performance from Anomaly. Great team play there. We're seeing them get an eye on the win conditions. We're seeing them set things up. It isn't just one player fragging out as much as it may look that way in the kill feed, because the whole team is maneuvering in such a way to enable that to happen. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking the way they came together as a team during the match. A lot of the mistakes we were seeing early on, they got tightened up. And by the end of it, Anomaly looking like a strong team in their own right.
I mean, there was so much to talk about from them. Al-Qaeda's doing a fantastic job on the Reinhardt. I felt like they were getting bullied around a bit at the start of the match, particularly by Prime. I mean, Primex is a phenomenal Reinhardt. We saw that time and time again, particularly when they were getting that nano boost support coming through from Yevi. But Al-Qaeda's really, they got bullied around a bit, but they stood their ground. And in the end, they were coming out on top of the tank duels. And them combined with Strange was making such a great impact, and as you called out during the match, giving Botnix so much room to work with, really enabled that DPS player to come alive at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I like what I'm seeing from the roster. I'm liking the way they tighten things up. And I mean, in the end, we do have to acknowledge that Botnix just put on an incredible performance, and so many of these opening fights, it's Botnix getting 3, 4, 5 kills, just going absolutely ham on the McCree, and then locking things down on the Widowmaker there at the end as well. So push comes to shove, you do need to talk about the elephant in the room, because if you don't, well, he's just killed 5 of your team because you didn't pay enough attention to him.
I would like to call out Glacy from the side of MGSharks. I've got 14 DPS heroes listed down as played. I'm trying to figure out which ones they didn't play. I've got Tracer. That's the only thing I can think of right now. I mean,
they might have swapped a Tracer in like an overtime situation.
I'm not counting an overtime position. I'm just counting deliberate swaps in order to make impact. And the flexibility that they had. Yeah, they weren't getting all the flashy plays of Botnix, but just showing that they've got a player with that much flexibility on your team is so good for them. It didn't quite work out, but I mean, they took 2 out of 5 maps, and they went close on a couple of the maps that they lost. So fantastic play out of them, and another shout out to TC, being a Lucio main and showing exactly why they main Lucio. They were so good. So I think that last map was very one-sided, but that was really the only one-sided map that we got played today. MGSharks put up such a great fight. They
really did. This was really down to the wire. And I mean, what did we say at the start of this map? Well, according to all statistics, MGSharks have this. So naturally, it was absolutely one-sided against them. Anomaly pulling it out, going up to another level. Incredible performance there from the university team. I'm really interested to see what they can do, because I'd assume as a university team that they're probably still a relatively new team as well. In fact, we have here that, it's a fairly new team, very new coming into the tourney, and they're sort of starting to find their footing. It's definitely showing, and I'm really excited to see what we see from these in the rest of the year.
Indeed, but that will do us for tonight. So with the result from that match, MGSharks still in playoffs, but they will only finish fourth in the group. I say only finish fourth in the group. You're in playoffs. They will finish fourth in the groups. Next week, they will face off against the winner of the match between No Ducks Given and Orion Beetle. That'll be an interesting match for them, given that how close each team in this division has been. We've seen... I won't talk about it because we don't know what the No Ducks Orion Beetle match will play out. But again, congratulations to QUT Anomaly for their win in this match. Congratulations in the previous match to Firescale. And I would like to, introduce everyone, if you haven't been paying attention to the Discord in the last couple of hours, because, you've been watching this match, why would you be in the Discord as well? AOE has just launched a Valorant area of the Discord. Valorant, the Riot's new game, very similar to CSGO, with a little bit of Overwatch elements in it when it comes to abilities and whatnot. It's a tactical shooter, so you can join the AOE Discord if you want to get involved in the AOE Valorant action. Come to the welcome channel on the Discord, pick up the Valorant role. We are running weekly pugs on Sunday evenings starting this Sunday, so make sure you get in there if you want to play Valorant with some of your AOE friends. And we'll also be looking to run larger, more competitive formal tournaments similar to AAOL and Ascent for Valorant. There'll be more info and signups on signups for that coming soon. So make sure you are across all of AOE's social media channels: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, or the website aoesports.com.au. And most importantly, be in the Discord. That's where we all hang out. That's where the information comes from.
Absolutely. I hope everyone has been getting into Valorant and enjoying it, largely because I want better teammates. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, the amount of people who don't know how to initiate fights, Nonetheless, I'll get a chance to criticize people playing Valorant badly in due time, I'm sure, as hopefully we get to do this for that as well. And then I can sit here with no rank in Valorant because I don't have a rank mode yet and pretend that I know a lot more than I do. But until then, we'll be back next week. Yeah, just
claim you're immortal in beta. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was immortal in beta. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. No one killed me in beta. We didn't play the beta. Anyways, we'll be back next week for playoffs. So look forward to those. As always, more details on the matches will come out closer to the date. We'll be back next week for playoffs and the week after for all of the grand finals on all of the days. Has that been formally announced? Am I potentially saying stuff I shouldn't be? I don't know. This could be leaks.
Been announced. No,
it hasn't been announced. This could be leaks, but I believe we are planning to stream all of the grand finals and have a big grand final weekend. So look forward to that as well. Until then, look after yourselves. Take care.
Hang on.
Oh, you got one more?
Well, playoffs means the $500 prize pool is up for grabs, and that has been provided by MyRepublic. If in the middle of, if you're having trouble with your stream, you're not on NBN, or you're having a bit of problems with the NBN provider, go check out MyRepublic. They've got the best NBN packages out there, particularly for gamers. So make sure when you're joining our Valorant pugs, you're using an MyRepublic gamer connection for the best possible connection to your Valorant servers, and that will give you the edge. It's a tactical shooter. You need all the peakers advantage you can get, as much as Riot is trying to get rid of it from the game. So check MyRepublic out. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week.
Yeah, what's up with it?